Thank you very much, Mark. Good evening, everyone. Well, Sunday's 3-0 defeat by Manchester United was Leicester's 4th league loss in a row. It has left them just 1 point above the relegation zone in the top flight. And all Claudio Ranieri can do this evening, having picked a much weakened team here, is to hope that this can in some way prove a distraction from the league form. Maybe the cup can in some entangled way help Leicester to find a bit of their old magic again. For Derby County, also a weakened team this evening, 8 changes from the last league game, but maybe, just maybe, an opportunity for them. Derby 3 points below the playoff positions in the Championship. Darren Bent, who scored at both ends in the original game, not even involved tonight on the bench. And if Derby are going to do this against the reigning Premier League champions, it's with a very much untried, untested team, with the likes of 21-year-old Jonathan Mitchell in goal, Max Lowe, who's a 19-year-old teenager at left back, Julian Dessart, who's recently joined on loan from Middlesbrough for the rest of the season, and up front Nick Blackman, a striker who joined from Reading just over a year ago. When he left Reading, he had scored 10 goals in his last 10 games. Since he's joined Derby in those 12 months, he's only managed to score once. He is the man picked to lead the line tonight, Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on him to start delivering as well. I think I work it out. I think there's only 10 league goals on the pitch tonight, Connor, from and that's both sides. So difficult for both sides, particularly with the change that I spoke about it to Mark earlier on. Puts pressure on the changes here tonight, I feel. I really do think that, because they're coming into the side, they've got to impress the manager. Now, some might say, yeah, you can play with no fear, you've got to go out and impress him as it is, but I think it just makes it that little bit more difficult for the players. When they come in, they haven't been getting much game time. Again, go out, show your manager what you're made of, but it does put that little bit of pressure on you. Mentally, you've got to be prepared for this.
Derby's defeat at Newcastle on Saturday, only their 3rd defeat in 17 games in all competitions. Things really have picked up in recent times for Steve McLaren, particularly late autumn, November into early December. They went on a very strong run that has been stunted a little bit through the festive period and into January. Otherwise, they wouldn't be below the playoff positions. They'd be firmly up in them. But tonight, McLaren has named his team with these 8 changes, and it's perhaps not the East Midlands derby we would have hoped for in terms of the big names and the high profile, but it's still a place in the 5th round against Millwall at stake here. And who knows, come May, one of these teams might well have gone on a cup run and look back at tonight as being a very important stepping stone along the way.
Yeah, I do feel as though the ball's in Derby's court here though, Conor. I really do. I think they can go and put the local rivals under severe pressure here tonight, going into their game, of course, against Swansea, Leicester City's game against Swansea at the weekend. I think Derby can come here. I think they can be a bit more relaxed, nothing to lose in many respects as well. So I think they can put a lot more pressure on Leicester, as I said, and the manager Claudio Ranieri tonight.
Do you think if Derby named their best team, their strongest 11 here tonight, would they win?
Yes, I would. Yeah. I do think that. I think they're strong. So they're going about it a bit differently this season than the last time under McLaren, where they started so brightly, but now they're coming to the fore, really. They're gaining momentum, and you fancy them at the moment with the way that they're playing for certainly a top 6 place in the Championship.
So here we go then, about to get underway. This is 5 Live from the BBC. It's the Emirates FA Cup. Michael Jones is the referee. He is standing on the edge of the centre circle. Derby will get us started. Their traditional white shirts, dark shorts, white socks. They will play from left to right as we look down here at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City, the home team, dressed all in blue, and we are underway as Julian Dessart, the Belgian, plays the ball forward early for Derby towards the edge of the Leicester City penalty area, and Marcin Wasilewski, the big burly Polish international, is there to clear the ball away. And there was that documentary towards the end of last season that Gary Lineker was the presenter of it, and he was asking Ranieri about Wasilewski and says, he's such an intimidating character. What do you say to him if he shows up late for training? And the answer was pretty much, good morning, sir, very nice to meet you. You're not going to have a crossword with him. And he's marshalling the centre of the defence tonight.
But he has looked sluggish at times, hasn't he, when he's been on the pitch, when he started games. Isn't the quicker, so that's one thing again for Blackman. He's got to try and play on the shoulder of Wasilewski. Can he be peeling away onto his side?
I think it says everything about Wasilewski that with the defensive problems Leicester have had this season, he's only made 1 appearance in the Premier League. He's on the ball at the moment, passing it to the right hand side to Daniel Amartey, who we've normally seen playing in the middle of the midfield, but he is operating at right back this evening. And it's Ben Alwan, the Tunisian, alongside Vasilevsky in the middle of the defence. Ben Chilwell, I'm looking forward to seeing again tonight, turned 20 in December. I've seen him, glimpses, views of him in cup competitions over the last 12-18 months, and he looks the real deal. He looks a classy player at left back. I think if Christian Fuchs wasn't such a good, steady performer, I think we'd have seen a lot more of Ben Chilwell. But we'll get to see how he gets on this evening. Andy King and Mendy in the middle of midfield, Albrighton and Kapuska on the wings, and Damari Gray sitting in behind Ahmed Musa for Leicester. Derby have a throw at left back. Jonathan Mitchell is their goalkeeper, former Newcastle keeper. Christie, Keogh, Shackle and Lowe the back four. Butterfield, Johnson, Dessart in the midfield. Camara, Blackman, Anya, the Scotland international, up front. Here is Kapuska with a bright yellow boots, and he helps it out to Damari Gray, and no lack of encouragement from the Leicester City supporters here. Gray goes down a bit of a cul-de-sac, has to turn, lays it back to Mendy. Leicester hold on to possession, but now they're back at the halfway line. Vasilevsky goes long, good ball, well controlled as well, initially by Ben Chilwell. Then he loses possession. Kapuska runs across and wins it back again. This is a good impact he's making on his first start for Leicester. Gray on the left wing, and now Chilwell, and he'll stretch, and I don't think he's kept that in play. Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, sorry, Conor. I say with Kapuska, he was the one we were looking at to see whether he I think he's a natural winger. Damari Gray, we feel as though that he could have played off Musa tonight, but it's Kapuska that's playing off Musa in a more central position. Damari Gray coming out onto the left-hand side. He's the one that you want to be putting Cyrus Christie, the Derby right back, under pressure and using his pace, because he's another real talented player in this Leicester squad.
So the throw in for Derby, Republic of Ireland international Cyrus Christie takes it, comes off a Leicester head, goes straight back out for another throw in to the visitors. Cyrus Christie, who scored an FA Cup goal in his Coventry City days, gives it back to Richard Keogh, and he'll roll it back to the goalkeeper Mitchell. With all the changes in the team tonight for Derby, changes for both teams. Richard Keogh, who's just this peripatetic, omnipresent. He has gone 102 consecutive league appearances for Derby without missing a match, and of course he keeps his place tonight. Here is Anya attacking on the left for Derby. Here comes a low cross into the penalty area. Vasilevsky has been hurt there as he gets back up to his feet, but the way he fell to the ground, I think he's hurt his arm or his elbow or something like that. But we mentioned he's big and burly. He gets up and shrugs it off. Leicester come on the counter-attack down the other end. Musa, ball into the feet of Kapuska. He turns, sends it a left foot across. Keogh is there stretching. Header goes straight back out to Kapuska. This is just outside the penalty area. Left-hand side, 0-0. Early stages here at the King Power Stadium. Gray slips, manages to get a cross in anyway. Too high for Musa. Maybe at the back post an opportunity for Damari Gray. Couldn't really get above it, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Yeah,
Marty getting forward from right back, looping header, no real power on it, but there's real pace in this Leicester side. We've already spoken about Kapuska. He's one that's really been a live wire at the start of this game. We know the pace that Musa's got. Damari Gray. So I think Leicester can do that tonight, that we've seen them be so good at over the last year, 18 months, sitting deep and then going on the counter-attack with the pace that they've got throughout this side.
It was this week last year that Leicester beat their main title rivals Manchester City 3-1. They opened up a 5-point gap at the top of the Premier League table. This week, 2 years ago, Leicester were bottom, and here at the moment they are just hovering above the relegation zone. It's been a yo-yo performance from a club, and isn't it funny that the celebrations, the wild enthusiasm 2 seasons ago when Leicester stayed up and managed to stay above the bottom three, now staying above the bottom three, well, there's no satisfaction in that, is there? There's a foul inside the centre circle on Damari Gray, means the first yellow card of the match, and a free kick inside the centre circle, free kick for Leicester. Christie, the man who's been booked.
Started brightly, Conor. Leicester have started brightly, you have to say that. Good crowd in the stadium again. We know the noise that's created here at the King Power as well, but spoke about the pressure being on the players. They're certainly not playing with pressure at the moment. They've come in looking to make an impression on Claudio Ranieri as he gets a great ovation from the supporters, Ranieri himself.
Yes, they are cheering his name, the Leicester City fans, and yesterday the club's owners forced to give him the dreaded vote of confidence and assuring everyone that Claudio Ranieri is still the main man here. He knows he's under pressure, and I think he really appreciated that moment with the majority of fans here inside the King Power Stadium singing his name. He's done well by them so far, more than any of them could ever have dreamed of, and they don't have short memories, certainly not that short. Here comes Anya, down the left wing for Derby, who's a very fast player. We've seen that on the international scene with Scotland. He gets all the way to the corner flag, down the left wing, and Marty just shadows him over there, doesn't lunge in. Anya's done well though to swivel and turn, sends in a cross, and the sting was taken out of that by King, and it's an easy take for the goalkeeper, Ron Robert Zieler.
It looked like he was going nowhere there as well, Anya, but he did well actually to get a crossing. So often when you see Anya, you just mentioned there, Connor, real pace, real direct ability. I feel as though he should be doing better without the ball, because with his pace, because he looks to take the ball a little bit deeper, it allows Leicester players as it is tonight, or opposition, to get back behind the ball. I think he can do more without the ball. When one of his teammates is travelling forward, he can then go and become that real threat in behind Leicester's defence tonight. If he can do that right, he can be a real problem for Leicester.
We've played 6.5 minutes, Leicester 0, Derby 0 here in the FA Cup, this fourth round replay. If you're driving in the car, perhaps on the way home, and you're listening to us and you're going to watch this game later on BBC television, if you want to continue to listen to the commentary from myself and Kevin, press the red button if you have that facility available, and you can choose to listen to the 5 Live commentary as you watch the BBC television pictures, and it's all synced up. And maybe you want to listen to Steve Bauer, and why not? He's a very good commentator as well. But if you're enjoying the flow of the radio commentary, that option is available to you.
He's not bad, Steve. He's all
not
right.
Bad. He's not bad, but we won't tell him. He won't be listening because he's on the telly. Here is Damari Gray on the halfway line, gives it to Andy King, who's come all the way from Leicester's lowest point in League One up to their highest point in the Champions League, and he sends a good pass down the right wing, and an opportunity for Albrighton now to cross, hangs it in well. There was a good whip on that to Sart, heads it away, picked up by Mendy, who's urged by several thousand voices to shoot, but he felt that option wasn't available to him. Here is Amartey again, plays it infield and picks out Damari Gray, 20 yards outside the penalty area. Central location as Leicester come forward, playing right to left as we look down. Here is Albrighton again on the right wing, forces it in front of Kapuska. He hangs in across. Well, it was again to a good location, but there was no one there for Leicester, and this should be cleared away by camera here. Tell you what, it's a high-risk ball to Keogh on the edge of the area, but Derby do get it away. Keogh is then fouled after the pass was released, fouled by Mendy. Free kick to Derby, 0-0, Kevin Kilbane.
A couple of fouls in there as well, and you said the foul from Mendy initially. I think that's the one thing where on the right hand side it was Amartey getting forward, Anya switching off, allowing Amartey to get beyond him. That's the heavy challenge that we see there on, is it Keogh, I think it is there.
Or is it Desart? But either way, yeah, he's up and he's okay, and it is the free kick to Derby. Away to our left-hand side. Jonathan Mitchell, 21 years of age, made his reserve debut for Newcastle when he was only 15, and he was still at school, and they had to prepare emergency forms with the school to allow him leave in order to play for the reserves. And here he is 6 years later, starting in the FA Cup against the Premier League champions, who are defending at the moment, Leicester, because Anya attacks for Derby, plays it off the shins of King, who's been helping out Amartey on that right wing, and he may well need some support, the man who normally plays in the midfield. You were telling me, Kevin, he played in defence of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes, he was playing centre-half over there, yes.
Here's Anya, crossing position after the throw-in is played to him, takes a deflection on the way through, and it doesn't go for a corner. Oh, sorry, it does. Initially it looked like Ron Robert Zieler had kept that in play, but the referee's assistant, who's on the near touchline, this all happened on the far side of the penalty area, he is convinced the ball did leave the field of play, and it's a corner to Derby.
Yeah, I just thought, just interesting just watching Leicester. I spoke about the way that they counter-attack. Both Gray and Kapuska, they're the two that not really tracking back. They're the one that's almost playing on the wrong side of the Derby County players.
Derby corner swung in, goalkeeper Zieler comes and punches, Desart tries to send it back in, Blackman is in there but he can't get a touch, and the ball is cleared away by Leicester, and to Anya, who has tracked back to the halfway line. So Derby come again. Anya plays it long and direct, looking for Nick Blackman, easily dealt with by Ben Elwan. This is Mendy now, 10 yards outside his own penalty area. He's giving it away here. He's scrambling, tried to lunge down at the feet of Bradley Johnson, but Derby hold on to possession. And this is Cameron on the left-hand side, tries to cross, first time left-footed, and there's appeals that it hit the arm of Amartey, and he was in the penalty area, but the officials weren't convinced by that, and play continues. Derby remain on the attack. This is a good spell from the visitors.
Yeah, slack from Leicester City in possession. You mentioned there Mendy getting caught. That's the position that we know Kante in those positions, he'd take the ball, but he rarely ever got caught in those positions. That's the one thing where you feel as though with Leicester this season, when you watch him, we know it's a big miss, I know that, but it's what he gives you in possession of the ball. He'll take the ball in tight areas and keep the ball for them.
It looks like it's going to be back-to-back Premier League medals for N'Golo Kante. You sort of feel, and I'm saying this a little bit in jest, but you sort of feel whatever team he joined in the summer, that team was going to win the league. Here is Andy King, midway inside his own half, rolls it back to Vasilevsky. Leicester come forward up to the halfway line. Albrighton with the layoff. King comes in and is strong in midfield. Bradley Johnson did enough, though, to win the ball back for Derby. Just those little layoffs and flicks. Last season, they all worked for Leicester. They all came off. This time less so, as Musa helps it on to Kapuska. Steadies himself, shoots. Ugly shot off the outside of his left boot, and it spins away and out for a goal kick. So 0-0 here, and here are the thoughts of Kevin Kilbane.
Well, again, it's Leicester breaking forward quickly. Numbers, those three that I've spoken about so often. Albrighton on the far right hand side was getting in touch with Musa in that occasion, but Kapuska, he's been lively at the start. I've been very impressed with him.
Producer George Cummins has just given me a very good quiz question, which we'll just put it out there for listeners at home, just for fun. You don't text in or anything, but we mentioned N'Golo Kante heading for back-to-back Premier League titles. Who is the last player to win back-to-back Premier League medals? Just have a think about that, and we'll give you the answer in a few moments. Kevin Kilbane is whirring through that file of facts inside his brain, and he's now gone speechless while he thinks. 0-0 here at the King Power Stadium, and a free kick has been awarded to Leicester. Foul on King, and the referee wants to have a word with Nick Blackman. And it is a long word as well, and I think it's a warning to say one more of those and you will be going in the notebook. Nick Blackman, former Blackburn player, played for Sheffield United, hit a really good run of form in the early stages of last season. With Reading, that prompted the move to Derby, but he hasn't been able to live up to those heights, and he's only scored one goal in the year that he's been at Derby. Here is Musa, chance of a counter-attack for Leicester. Albrighton's with him on the right-hand side. Good ball from Musa into the path of Albrighton, sends in the cross, and it's defended away by Max Lowe, and Leicester have won a corner, and that's a bit more like it.
Well, they've got to be careful, Derby, because they're giving the ball away needlessly. Already spoken, 2 or 3 times now Leicester have broke really quickly. Musa, when he receives the pass, he's taking the ball on the half turn, he's got runners beyond him. That time again, Albrighton, who's come into the game in the last couple of minutes, but Derby's giving the ball away needlessly, and it's allowing Leicester to break quickly.
Albrighton will take the corner on the right hand side, swung in and headed away in a defensive position by Blackman, the striker, who was back for the corner. Here it comes in again. This time it hits another defender and goes for a corner once again. 2 corners back to back for Leicester. We've played 13 and a half minutes. It's pretty even between these two so far, 0-0.
They are, Leicester, putting a lot of crosses in the early stages, trying to put both Shackle and Keogh under pressure.
So they wait patiently for Albrighton to place the ball for this corner kick. Speaking to Martin O'Neill before the game, he thinks it's not really about the hunger of the players, it's adapting to their new circumstances for Leicester. Such an unusual situation for them. And Dessart here clears it away ahead of Anya. And I'll tell you what, if Anya can control this, he'll be on his bike. Here he is, over the halfway line, shifting through the gears. Anya bearing down now on the penalty area. Leicester players trying to get back from the attacking corner. Anya to the byline, hangs in a really good cross. Blackman! Well, if he had left that, Dessart was behind him. Blackman got up, it came off the top of his head. He wasn't able to direct it towards goal. It's a bit of a let-off for Leicester there, and Anya very nearly created a goal-scoring opportunity.
Brilliant from Anya. He's got Vasilevsky backed off into the penalty area. That's exactly what you want him, one-on-one. We've already spoken about Vasilevsky with his lack of pace. Once you get the big centre-half backing off like that, you've got to go and commit him. He does it brilliantly. As you say, he puts in a great ball. I just think Dessart, when he's arriving into the penalty area there, can he scream at Blackman? Can he just shout and tell him that he's got a free header? It looks as though Chilwell won't get to it as the ball was being clipped over. Oh, he's so unlucky. Great break though. Excellent from Anya. That's what you want from him, with using his pace.
Well, that was really good, and what a mismatch that is. Anya against Vasilevsky. As Dessart here had a heavy touch, nearly lost it to King in the midfield. But
he recognises quickly though, Connor, Anya. He sees it's Vasilevsky. He knows he's not got the pace to live with him. Go and commit him.
Here is Chilwell. The left back did so well there. He's under pressure from Cyrus Christie. A more worried player might have just played that out for a throw, and he kept it alive. Back to the goalkeeper Zieler. Zieler's clearance wasn't great, but Leicester do regain possession with Damari Gray, who has started quite a few games lately in the Premier League. In from the start tonight in the FA Cup, and a free kick for a foul on Bartosz Kapuska. Free kick to Leicester on the halfway line. Have you any ideas on the back-to-back Premier League winner yet?
I think so, yeah. I think so. There is another one that's come to mind, but it wasn't Premier League.
Okay, here is Gray to Musa just outside the penalty area, left-hand side. Good defending by Christie to hold him up. Camera's back helping out as well. Chilwell sends it in, low cross, doesn't pick out a teammate. Christie's header then as it ricochets up in the air off Keogh. Second header away by Christie. Leicester are going to lose it here, and this is Blackman. Good ball out into space. Now he was fouled there by Vasilevsky, but the referee waves play on because Max Lowe is taking it over the halfway line, and they release the exciting Anya again, and he now has Amartey in front of him. Anya, no tricks this time, gives it back to Lowe. Here comes the cross. Bradley Johnson is the furthest forward. Goalkeeper comes and looks very uncertain, and Johnson heads it out for a goal kick. But you talk about goalkeepers commanding their penalty area. Not very convincing from Ron Robert Zieler there.
No, it's poor goalkeeping. You say less than commanding. Not so sure that that's actually a goal kick. I don't know if Bradley Johnson got anything on that. It's like Zieler just palmed it behind.
Well, I'll give you a hint of it. The last player before this guy with the back-to-back Premier Leagues was Eric Cantona.
That was
who won
Premier
it with
League,
Leeds, which was, and then won it with Manchester United. And in much more recent times, and now a familiar voice on 5 Live, Mark Schwarzer received Premier League medals back-to-back with Chelsea and with Leicester. And here is Camera attacking down the right-hand side. Blackman's in the middle if he can resurrect a cross from here, but he's well marshalled by Chilwell, and Chilwell puts it out for a corner. Corner to Derby on the right-hand side. We've played 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah, good defending from Ben Chilwell. You mentioned him early on. I was here last year, around about a year ago, for the replay when Tottenham played Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester came here, and he was excellent. I really like him as well. He played in the first game at White Hart Lane, and he's a player that I'm looking to develop as well over the next year or two.
So here comes the corner for Derby. Swung in left-footed, bounces right across the 6-yard box. Nobody could get a touch on it. Bradley Johnson tries to cross on the left-hand side. Well blocked down though by Kapuska. And Leicester thought they had a counter-attack there, but they've lost the ball. And Camera steps back into the penalty area, whips it in left-footed. Needed more bend on it to test the goalkeeper. It goes wide. It's a goal kick. But I think Derby County, with 18 minutes played here, will be very impressed as to how they're getting in behind the Leicester defence.
Yeah, Anya's coming into it. Connor, I think he actually shoots there, Kamara, when he picks up that ball. It looks to me like he's trying to bend it into the far corner beyond Zieler. He just gets it wrong, and he actually shanked it back the other way. Poor strike from him, really.
Oh, he's definitely going for goal. He's trying to wrap his foot around it.
Just gets it wrong, doesn't he?
And it skews away and well off target. But it was a chance, and Leicester haven't had an opportunity like that in the game so far. Here is Ben Alwan, and he clears it away right-footed, hooking it away up over his left shoulder, and it comes straight back to test the Leicester defence. King loses out in midfield to Julian Dessart. Picked up again, this time by Albrighton for Leicester. Support behind him by Daniel Amartey. And then King switches the flow of play over to the near touchline, Leicester's left. And this is Ben Chilwell, and he takes no chances and rolls the ball back to the goalkeeper, Ron Robert Zieler. So Millwall await. I'll tell you what, that won't be that won't be an easy visit to the New Den. I've been at their last 2 games, the Bournemouth game and the Watford game, and they claimed 2 back-to-back Premier League scalps, and they didn't just sort of scrape their way through. They did very well in those games. I think whoever wins here, Derby or Leicester, they're going to have a task in their hand to beat Millwall away.
A couple of uncertain moments from Leicester's 2 centre-halves. We've mentioned Vasilevsky already. Ben Luan, who's alongside him. Just the distances between them very wide at times. When they have possession, of course they want to receive it, but when Derby do win the ball back quickly, they're not able to get back into position quick enough with the lack of pace, certainly from Vasilevsky.
Long clearance from Leicester, carries through all the way to the Derby goalkeeper Mitchell, and he bowls it out to the left-hand side. Derby give it away. King for Leicester, helped on over the top. This time Mitchell comes to the edge of his penalty area, and the goalkeeper, who's dressed in bright fluorescent orange, gathers that ball into his chest. Derby doing well here with 20 minutes play. The crowd, who, if you missed our commentary earlier on, have been singing the name of Claudio Ranieri. Some support for him, and it seems bizarre to be saying it, but he needs that support at the moment. This is Richard Keogh, edge of the Derby penalty area, rolls it on to Bradley Johnson. I always remember the night, I think it was, whatever transfer window it was, when he left Norwich to join Derby, and he was interviewed on the telly, and he said, really excited to be joining Derby City. And he was quickly told that's not actually the name of the club. Well, it wasn't as bad as when Rubinho signed for Manchester City and said, I'm really glad to be joining Chelsea, which someone had to take him aside and explain what was going on. Transfer deadline day, it's not the fun it used to be, is it? No.
It's gone, hasn't it? It's gone. Yeah. That's it.
No. So this is Christie, right-hand side of defence for Derby, helps it on to Camera, little push in the back by Chilwell. Camera holds his composure, passes it back to Jason Shackle, who was an ever-present last season but hasn't been involved in all the games this time round. Here is Johnson of Derby City, playing it over the halfway line. That's good work to help it on by Jacob Butterfield, and then they try to get it up to Nick Blackman, and that's when Vasilevsky lunges in and gets the ball but won't hold on to it. So Camera comes forward for Derby on the right hand side. He's got Cyrus Christie outside him, hangs in across, too high for his two teammates in the middle. Albrighton is backtracking to the edge of the Leicester penalty area, and he is there and able to clear it away. Good accurate pass up to Ahmed Musa. Musa gives it back to Chilwell. Now to the near touchline to Damari Gray. No room for him at all here on the halfway line, right in front of Claudio Ranieri. He's got the padded jacket and the hood down on the back of his neck. Zieler clears away, left foot it to the halfway line. Header won by Butterfield, gives it straight to Ben Alwan, and then Mendy over into Vasilevsky, and Leicester come again.
There's good pressure though from Derby, forcing Leicester back.
Here comes King, good surge through midfield, tried to roll it in front of Musa. Shackle slid in, wasn't able to fully deal with it. Cross comes in again, this time from Albrighton. It was low, it was straight at Richard Keogh, and Keogh clears the ball away. But applause from the Leicester City fans, they like what they saw there.
Yeah, I do feel that Leicester, as a back player in both Keogh and Shackle, have played together quite a lot in the past. So they know that when crosses are coming in, they understand each other's position better. You do feel as though they've been dealing, even Christie as well, playing alongside Keogh as well, of course international teammates. But you see Derby as a back four, not necessarily including Max Lowe within that, but certainly the three of that back four have played together quite a lot, more understanding of each other's game and positional sense.
And more big sport coming up at the weekend in 5 Live. We've got Wales against England in the Six Nations, the whole show from Twickenham on Saturday, and we'll be featuring Leicester again on Sunday when they go to Swansea. It's the 4 o'clock kickoff, full commentary here on 5 Live Sports. This is Ikichi Anya, a couple of step overs, gets to a crossing position, hangs it in as well, but Chilwell on the edge of the 6-yard box was there to head away for Leicester. You feel if Derby are going to make the breakthrough here, that Anya will be involved, and he's going to get another chance. Oh, he's offside. Well, that's unfortunate for him. Leicester clearing it away. Good block down by Max Lowe. It fell into the path of Anya, but because it had been played off Lowe, Anya was offside, and it's a let off for Leicester because he was in. Yeah,
just trying to get back onside, wasn't he, Anya? Difficult one for Mark Albrighton tonight. He's the one that's got to try and stick with Anya. He's the one that's got to try and track back to help out Amati. If Amati gets forward, he knows with the pace of Anya he'll have to get back and certainly nullify that threat. But it's a lovely ball played in from Anya. Again, Ben Chilwell, the Leicester City left back, as that ball was clipped up from Anya to the far post, gets his distance right, gets his positional sense right, and clears it well.
Latest in the FA Cup trophy, Chelmsford City 0, Tranmere 2. This is the FA Cup 4th round replay. I feel about this that neither manager wanted this game. 10 changes for Leicester, 8 changes for Derby, but the prize remains the same, a place in the 5th round away at Millwall to the winners this evening. In the post-match press conference after the original game, Steve McLaren, you could tell the last thing in the world he wanted was to have to come here to the King Power and play Leicester again.
It's a difficulty, isn't it? I mean, Mark Chapman spoke before the game about Ian Dennis's tweet, and in many respects it's right. It's difficult for both managers. We know what's at stake for both clubs at the moment. They've got to play this game in the midst of some big games coming up for them. You know, I'm certainly now leaning. I didn't necessarily used to have that opinion because I've watched lower league football growing up. I know what it means to the lower league clubs for those replays, but when it's getting to this sort of round now, particularly with the games that the sides have got coming up, I'm in favour of getting those games done and dusted and finished on the day without having replays.
Well, we are a quarter way through this replay. It is 0-0 between Leicester and Derby, and we will have a winner one way or the other this evening. Even if it does go to the penalties, we will know who goes through. Kapuska closing down Richard Keogh, helps it on to Musa in the penalty area. There's a nudge, there's an appeal for a penalty. There is nothing doing with the referee. Musa stands, looks indignant, there was a coming together, but I don't think the force was there. What's your view, Kevin?
Well, Shackle goes with his wrong foot. He challenges with his left foot, so I think he actually catches Musa because he's gone in with the wrong foot. He's trying to get his body in across Musa. Do you know, Connor, as you say, there's not a lot of force in the challenge, but I think that's a foul. I really do think that, because he goes with the wrong foot, Jason Shackle. I think he puts himself under pressure in doing that.
Shackle on the ball again for Derby, clears it away. Vasilevsky's back tracking, Blackman challenging with him. Leicester have got strength in numbers, and Amatri nudges it back to the goalkeeper Zieler.
I hate saying it, Connor, as well, but it's one of those. Anywhere else in the pitch, the referee, it's an easy decision, he gives a foul. I think it might be slightly harsh in that position to give a penalty that could dictate the outcome of the game, but I still think it's a foul. It's in the penalty area, so I'd have to say that it should be a penalty there.
Steve McLaren has come out to join Claudio Ranieri on the edge of the technical areas. Brilliant tackle again from Chilwell, this time stopping camera in full flow. Really impressed with this youngster. I think Liverpool had a look at him in the summer, Ben Chilwell, and this time the referee halts an attempted counter-attack from Leicester. Demarai Gray wanted to run away, but there had been a foul on Dessart, and that's a free kick to Derby.
Yeah, I like Chilwell. Again, I'll go back to him. He reminds me a little bit of Leighton Baines. He does. The way that he plays, he's not the tallest, but stocky, quick, gets forward, excellent left foot.
He's kind of got the same hairstyle Leighton Baines had as a young player when he came through.
Might be it, yeah.
He's got the quiff, he's got the sweeping hair to one side, but he looks a real talent as this youngster. Richard Keogh rolls the ball back to the goalkeeper Mitchell, and then his long clearance high up into the still night air. Good conditions for football this evening. Dark skies overhead, little bit of a breeze, not too cold, certainly no rain. And Keogh clears it away right-footed once again. And this time a foul on Mendy by Nick Blackman, and a free kick to Leicester. It's got a little bit scrappy. We had a good flow there for 10-15 minutes, but they're getting bogged down a little bit in midfield at the moment. Vasilevsky turns, rolls it back to Ron Robert Zieler. If you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live, multiple changes, 10 changes for Leicester, 8 changes for Derby. Both of them were league games of the weekend in which they lost. And Leicester have got their Champions League commitments resuming very soon, of course. Last season, they went out early in the FA Cup, did Leicester. Maybe that helped them in the charge towards the Premier League. No other distractions. This time round, they've got the Champions League still here in the FA Cup. Such is the price of success, the extra commitments for Claudio Ranieri and his team. This is Max Lowe, teenager, left back for Derby. Gives it short to Jason Shackle. Shackle playing alongside Richard Keogh. So it is the 8 changes tonight, but Shackle and Keogh, who last season would have been the steady Eddie pairing. They started every game in the Championship, so they're very well used to playing alongside each other.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of experience as well. Played alongside Jason Shackle when I had a short spell here at Derby as well myself, before he moved on to Burnley and coming back here. But yeah, excellent, composed defender, good left foot in him as well. He can play from the back, likes to receive the ball and build up attacks.
Christie plays it all the way back to the goalkeeper Mitchell once again. You mentioned the prospect of penalties if needed to separate them. In your playing days, Kevin, if you were going into a replay and you knew it was a possibility, would the manager say, well, let's have a little practice penalties, or just sort of not put that in your mind?
Yeah, it would have been. We talk about penalty shootouts, Conor. You know my ultimate experience of penalty shootout when I practice. I
was not going to bring that up.
But in general,
frankly, I'm still hurting about that. But go on.
Yeah, but in general, I've taken a lot of penalties with a lot of success, Conor. I have to say that in penalty shootouts. But yeah, the FA Cup was one of them as well.
This is a good ball by Gray to Chilwell, crossing position left-hand side. Christie makes the block. It goes out by the corner flag, but for a throw-in. Leicester take it quickly. Chilwell to Gray. Gray rolls it in low to Kapuska, and then he does win a corner. Been impressed with him as well. Bartosz Kapuska, he was signed in the summer. He's not been given much first team action at all, just 6 minutes before tonight, but he looks good, and he's won that corner on the left.
Yeah, he started brightly. Last 10 minutes or so he's probably gone out of the game a little bit, but you can see when they get in tight areas he's quite comfortable with the ball being taken with a number of players around him.
Gray sends in the corner. Ben Alwan was at the back post. Now, just his body language as he tried to move and raise his right foot for that, it looked as if he might have been dragged down in there, but the referee is happy it's just a goal kick.
There was that Keogh. I think Keogh gets hold of his shirt there, as he gets away from him, he gets the wrong side of him there, Ben Alwan, and Kyo's got hold of his shirt. He does have hold of his shirt as well.
Yeah.
It's another one.
He continues to. I mean, it's not just a little tug. He holds onto it throughout the time that the ball was in the air and coming towards them. But again, there is so much of that in the penalty areas. It's difficult for the referee.
But Mike Jones is in a decent position. It was something as well that did really used to frustrate me when you were going for challenging defenders, pulling your shirt the wrong side of the referee. Referees not necessarily seeing it, but that was a clear tug from Kyo there.
King loops one over the top for Albrighton. Difficult bounce to try and swivel his body and get the cross in. In the end, all he could do is float it in, and Mitchell, the Derby goalkeeper, gathers the ball, and he wants to do a quick clearance, but he's somewhat sliced that clearance, and it comes short of its intended target. Chilwell plays it forward for Leicester. King is going to control it here in the middle of the park. Gives it out to Albrighton on the right-hand side. Well, the team might be misfiring in the Premier League, and in Kasper Schmeichel's words, being a bit of an embarrassment lately in defending the Premier League title, but you can't knock the Leicester support here. This is a game on the television. They've come out, they've virtually filled the King Power Stadium again tonight, and you can tell they're urging them. They want to catch a little bit of that magic again from last season. They're still behind this team.
Yeah, it is. The atmosphere is actually very good, isn't it? Certainly, you come in here, you know there will be changes made tonight as well, so we're expecting maybe that to come across to the support as well that's coming here as well. It might be a little bit subdued, but it's anything but.
Here is Damari Gray. Good first touch control to get away from Butterfield. Then he sends it right foot across. Great chance for Musa. Can't finish it. It bounced inside the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper stood his ground. Musa was sliding in. Any touch at all hit his knee, his thigh, his stomach, anything, and that ends up in the back of the net. But he couldn't get a connection on the ball. It's the best chance of the game, and it remains 0-0.
Well, I spoke about Jason Shackle challenging with the wrong foot before when he went in for the challenge with Musa. Brilliant play initially here from Damari Gray. Skips by a couple of challenges. That's the ability this youngster has, and as he puts the ball across, I just feel as though that Musa goes with the wrong foot. He goes with his right foot instead of being a little bit more composed, allowing it to hit his left foot, and he gets it horribly wrong. But what a chance that is for Ahmed Musa.
Here is Butterfield inside the centre circle for Derby, and Shackle now in the heart of the visitors' defence. Championship Derby away at Premier League Leicester. There's a Dessart here, heads the ball on. King gets a forehead to it for Leicester. Albrighton clears away with the outside of his right boot, high for Musa, who's not the tallest striker, beaten in the air by Shackle. And then a good leap by Bradley Johnson for Derby County, and he tries to get it onto Anya, and Johnson still battling on himself here with the marquee, and then he eventually goes to ground. Referee says no foul. Vasilevsky gets there ahead of Anya on the edge of the penalty area. He had about a 12-yard head start on him. Leicester do clear away, but they won't keep the ball.
Yeah, sorry, Colin. You spoke there about Bradley Johnson earlier on in the move from Norwich. When he played for Norwich, he played in a more advanced role. Predominantly when he's played, particularly this season for Derby, he's played as a sitting midfielder. And Steve McLaren has spoke about his understanding of the role and how he can maybe adapt his game to try and be a little bit more disciplined defensively. Tonight he's playing a bit further forward. He's the one that's trying to get into support of Blackman up front.
Manchester United against Watford is our 3 o'clock commentary this coming Saturday. All the goals as they go in across the English and Scottish leagues, with Ian Dennis and the round the ground service, of course. We've got the rugby, the Wales against England game, and that's all on Saturday. On Sunday, Swansea against Leicester is the 4 o'clock game, and that's a match that's taken on a lot of importance. We were both at the Etihad on Sunday. We saw Swansea. I mean, they're beaten by Manchester City, but gave a really good account of themselves.
Yeah, particularly second half. I was very impressed with what Paul Clement had done at half-time with them, changed the formation around a little bit, got the team right on the front foot and put City under pressure. Probably, Paul Clement was probably right, saying at the end he could have had a draw. I thought City did in spells play excellently as well, though.
I think if you asked anyone at half-time, is this game going to end 4 or 5-0, they wouldn't have blinked. It just looked like Manchester City were running away with it. Swansea showed real resolve, and that is going to be a tricky one for a Leicester team who in their recent league games, leave out the Burnley one, which they lost 1-0. They lost 3-0 to Chelsea. They lost 3-0 to Southampton. 3-0 to Manchester United. They are leaking goals. They have yet to score a goal in 2017 in the league of Leicester City.
Is it 1 in 7, I think, as well overall, Connor? Just not good enough, particularly with the amount of attacking talent they've got within this squad here at Leicester City.
Here is Bradley Johnson for Derby, playing left to right as we look down, leaves it off to Butterfield. Back now to Richard Keogh, and he helps it over the halfway line to Camara, on to Christie. This is good movement by Derby. Leicester have got to file back into a defensive formation. Christie hangs in the cross. Might have sent that one in a little bit early. Martree was able to cushion a header back to the goalkeeper. It's safely in the arms of Zieler away to our right-hand side.
Well, he's every right there, Cyrus Christie, to shake his head, because he puts in a really good ball. Once it gets beyond Blackman, yes, but where is Anya at the far side? I think he's got to be anticipating. He's got to be prepared to try to get across to Marty.
Don't forget, you can keep in touch with us across social media. We are at 5 Live Sport on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Same handle across those various platforms. As Camera here has possession on the halfway line, turns, rolls, gives it back to Christie. Both managers still out on the edge of their technical areas. Little applause of encouragement from Steve McLaren down there. And then the ball is cleared away by Mitchell, the Derby County goalkeeper. That's just going to go out of play on the far side. So throw into Leicester. We've played 36 minutes.
Quite upset prior to the game, Conor, as well. You didn't ask Martin O'Neill about the big game next month.
I was actually told that the questions were to be on this game only.
Oh, right, okay.
There were instructions.
You didn't ask me.
We don't just wing this, Kevin. You know. There's actually thought. No. He was in very good form. Was Martin, former Leicester City boss. A little bit befuddled as to how things have become so tangled this season. But yeah, he was making the point around me to break away due to an attack. He doesn't, he still sees the effort. He thinks the Leicester players, it's not that they're on the beach, it's not that they're not trying, it's just trying to adjust to this. Now when they come to play a team, they're the reigning champions. They're treated differently.
And of course it's confidence issues as well. You can't underestimate that. As soon as you start to lose a few games, start to look a little disjointed, you're not necessarily doing the same jobs you were last season, change of system, all these things coming into play as well off the back of that. That's only because we spoke about Ranieri changing system. You change your system invariably when results aren't going right. That's why he is actually tinkering with things. He's trying to find the winning formula, and he just hasn't been able to find that formula on a regular basis. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of Leicester recently. There's times, Drinkwater will play it forward, it'll be shinned on by Vardy, and last season he would have shinned it into his own path, perfectly weighted, he'd run on and score. Now he's shinning it 90-degree angle to the side. It's just that rub of the green that they're not having. Totally. Now, we mentioned the fact Leicester still without a league goal in 2017. No team in the Premier League era has failed to score in the first 5 matches of a calendar year before. And for those of you who don't like Premier League statistics and insist that, of course, football began before 1992, you've got to go back to Spurs 1986 for the last time a team in the top flight didn't score in their first 5 league matches of a calendar year. So it is some context on this. It's not just that Leicester are underperforming. They're underperforming on quite a grand scale in terms of a 30-year, doing things that haven't happened in 30 years. Here is Damari Gray to King. Here's Chilwell, who's come forward. 3 around him. Great pace from Chilwell. He's looking for a penalty. He goes down. I think he was trying to fool the referee there. Referee says corner. Well, he's caught out again here, Kyo. Brilliant run from Chilwell, but he's just got too much pace for him. Chilwell, again, it's one of those, it's harsh. They're harsh penalties in those situations, but Chilwell's the wrong side. Keogh knows that he's done for pace, and he just leans in and shoves him just in the back and in the side. Initially I thought it was a shoulder charge, but Keogh's the wrong side.
Damari Gray sends in the corner. Shackle gets an important touch just to flick it on. It was only a glance, but it was all that was needed to help the ball out of the penalty area and out for a throw on the far side. Do you think that could have been a penalty?
I'm loath to say that outside the area, the referee's, it's an easy decision. The referee's blown his whistle, and it's just But
free kick.
Yeah, he does that. That's what he does. He just says, it's a free kick. Get on with it. That's it. But when it's like that, it's kind of a nothing ball, is it? Chilwell's going nowhere. He's kind of playing for it a little bit as well. There's a slight bit of contact, and he falls over outside the area. Yeah, the referee's given a foul there probably, and it's an easy one to give. Yeah, there's been a few appeals for penalties at both ends in the game so far. If you're just tuning our way this evening on 5 Live Sport, best chance of the game fell into the lap of Ahmed Musa, who's leading the line for Leicester. Good cross on the right hand side. He was sliding in, couldn't get there on time. Any touch at all, it would have been 1-0. As it is, it remains scoreless. We have 5 minutes to go until the break here at the King Power Stadium. Kapuska, the young Pole, slides in for Leicester, and the ball goes out of play. He just got tangled up with Max Lowe there, and it will be possession back to the visitors' derby. Just seen it again. It's a panic from Kill. That's the thing, Connor. He panics, and he knows that Chilwell's just wrong side. It's one of those. It's a soft one, but he shoves him. He shoves him in the back. Chilwell probably makes the most of it again, but Ranieri's looking for it as well. I think it's a foul, Connor, I really do. The two soft ones, but I think it's a foul.
You know, there's an interesting grey area here, that sometimes if a player looks like he's, you know, even if he has been fouled, even if he has been pushed, if it looks like he's on purpose falling to the ground, you tend to think, you know, oh, he's diving.
Yeah.
But then equally, sometimes if the player doesn't go down, he doesn't get the spot.
Raheem Sterling, that was your primary. There was probably as much contact there as there was on Raheem Sterling the other week when he was one-on-one through against Tottenham. He was shoved in the back. He should have gone over. Would he have gotten it? I don't know. The referee should have seen that anyway, and the assistant.
Yeah. We're not missing any of the action here. Bradley Johnson is down injured, just receiving some treatment. It was an awkward fall. He landed on his shoulder, and he's receiving treatment down the pitch. Just to remind you, 0500 909 693 will be the number later on to get in touch for Five Live's Football Social. Mark Chapman back in the studio, Kevin Kilban here inside the King Power Stadium. Once the live football is over, we're through till 10:30. Your chance to get on the air on Five Live tonight, and we'll see what other talking points we have from here in this game this evening. But there's quite a lot to talk about in football at the moment, and not least, you know, this show of support by the Leicester City board for Claudio Ranieri, and you know, can you do it? Can you conceivably sack a manager who has won you the Premier League the season before?
You would have to see. But you would have said maybe 2 months ago, even if you'd have thought about it and said, if Leicester are in the relegation zone in 2 months' time, would he be sacked? You would say no. But what's at stake to the football club? That's the thing. I genuinely can't see it. Certainly at the moment, it'd have to go disastrously wrong. They'd have to be, you know, on a losing streak of perhaps 10-15 games before it'd actually get to that. And I think, as you said before, Connor, the supporters actually really do appreciate what Ranieri has done for the club. But the longer it goes, we have seen it before. We've seen managers in a position of strength quickly turn for them.
And the trouble as well is, the trouble, if you like, from a Ranieri point of view, is so often when teams do bring in a new man, and we've seen it lately with Swansea, we've seen it even, you know, David Moyes has turned things around to an extent with Sunderland. The new man often does, you know, create a turnaround, gets things moving in the other direction.
Yeah, you mentioned there Swansea, Paul Clement. He's made an immediate impact, hasn't he? Winning down at Crystal Palace when he was just appointed.
And Marco Silva at Hull.
He's another one. Certainly has. He's coming in, made Hull a lot better defensively. They look a lot brighter on the attack from that defensive structure as well. But Clement certainly impressed me. I was at Anfield a few weeks ago, really impressed the way that Swansea played.
Play back underway here. Bradley Johnson is okay. It was really earlier on, the original game between these two, which was also on BBC television. It was a Friday night game. Bradley Johnson, they had a camera in the dressing room, and before the game he had a kettle, and he was sort of sniffing the vapours out of the kettle. And people were wondering what this is. Is this sort of just to clear, you know, the way Robbie Fowler used to have the little thing on his nose? Have you ever seen a player do anything like that?
No, I haven't. It might have been. They might use it at the club. They might have boiled the kettle, boiled the water, and put Vicks or something like that in there.
Other decongestants are available, as we must point out.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the things, you know, the marvels that you pick up when you put a TV camera in the dressing room. He's okay after that knock as well.
It'll never last that, will it, Connor?
Well, you know, funny enough, Mark Chapman is in the studio, so I'm talking about how being at the Super Bowl at the weekend, and the game ends, and all the media are down inside the changing room.
He was enjoying that, Chappers, wasn't he?
We didn't ask how many selfies he asked for. I'm sure he kept journalistic integrity. This is Cyrus Christie on the right hand side for Derby. Rolls into camera, who knew he was offside, so didn't even challenge for it. You know, that was the right thing to do, because he didn't even challenge for it. The linesman doesn't raise his flag. This infuriates people when the linesman is late to raise a flag, you know, and people say, oh, why didn't you raise it earlier? Well, that's why, because when he didn't touch it, Christie was allowed himself to run on and try and get to the ball. 2 minutes being added on for stoppages here at the end of a first half where, quite frankly, there's not been much to write home about. A couple of half-hearted appeals for a penalty, one good chance for Musa. That's been about it. We've not had a proper shot on target in the game.
Neither goalkeeper seriously tested, has there?
It's not the magic of the FA Cup so far, but there could be a twist or two to come in the tail yet. In stoppage time here at the end of the first half. Christie takes the throw in to Butterfield just outside the penalty area, right hand side, hits it, that was better, and Zieler fingertips it out for a corner. I don't think it would have gone in. I think it was just veering wide, but Zieler wasn't to know that, and he puts it for a corner.
Yeah, we're at the perfect angle. I think it was going wide, Connor, but as you say, he has to Make sure there Zila does get a good hand to it. Decent enough strike from Butterfield. Didn't quite get hold of it the way he would like. Always slicing away, as you say. I think it was going wide though, but Zila just dealt with it, and it just puts more pressure on Leicester City's defence here.
Jacob Butterfield, who scored 8 goals last season, looking for his first of this campaign. Here comes the corner, swung in. Dessart's chance on the back post, scuffed it completely. It would have needed a very good technique to hit it on the half volley, and that was not a very good technique from the Belgian player.
Oh, good pressure from Benelouan, but it is a good chance. Not dealt with again. They've not dealt with corners too well, I don't feel, tonight, Leicester. Even when the balls haven't been great going into the penalty area. Steve McLaren, frustration there, we see him on our monitors, but that was a chance there. Decent enough chance there for Dessart. Yeah, got it in the end.
Julian Dessart looking for his first goal for Derby. Only made 3 appearances for Middlesbrough, and he's been let on loan to Pride Park through to the end of the season, as the ball goes out of play for a throw into Derby down below us. And yeah, it's not been great fare, and we're happy to admit that. That is a dull 45 minutes of FA Cup action. When it's good, we'll tell you it's good. When it's poor, we will admit that it's poor, but we hope for much better in the second half. It is 0-0 at the break, and that one chance from Musa, that was the opportunity that could have changed things.
Yes, that was a big chance. It was. I felt as though he went with the wrong leg. I think if he'd have just been a bit more composed and allowed the ball to hit him on his left hand side, I think he would have had an easier chance there. But neither Zila or Mitchell in both goals have been seriously tested, and I'm with you, Connor. I think it's been quite poor. I think it's lacked a lot of quality at times this game. I think we're expecting a little bit more here, but I suppose with the teams that were selected, it's probably not surprising, really, is it?
Yeah, poor fare. Things, as they say, can only get better. Half-time at the King Power Stadium. Leicester 0, Derby 0. Yeah, Derby have been out for the last few minutes and getting themselves G'd up ahead of the second half here, which frankly can only be better than the fare we had for the opening 45 minutes. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes in personnel over the break. Quite a few Premier League games recently. Claudio Ranieri has made changes, sometimes 2 changes over at half-time, which I always think, Kevin Kilban, suggests that a manager doesn't know his best team if he's making those changes on a regular basis at half-time.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, you're just watching the camera at half-time, and it was in the dressing room. You spoke about that earlier on. I was watching Steve McLaren, and it looked to me he was looking at Nick Blackman. He was saying to Nick Blackman, look, you can, just by his body language, with the way that he was talking to him, get hold of the ball. You need to get hold of the ball for us, and you need to bring other players into the game. I just think both strikers, both Musa and Blackman, haven't had hold of the ball, and it's been a poor quality game because of that.
Right, let's see what can happen here. If we don't get a break in the deadlock through the 90 minutes, it'll be extra time penalties this evening. But for now, it is 0-0 between Leicester and Derby, and oh dear, that's not an inspiring start. From the restart, Leicester have pumped the ball straight out of play. Dearie me. Yeah. This could be a long night, Kevin.
You think that should never happen as well with a new kick-off, because they're not even under pressure now with the simple pass back.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, these days with just one guy sitting inside the centre circle. But that's been the sort of evening it's been. I guess it's been the sort of season it's been at the King Power Stadium. Leicester playing from left to right now in this second period. Give you a rundown in the teams in just a moment. Leicester all in blue. Leicester up against Derby tonight of the Championship. Derby in the white shirts, black shorts, white socks. And Kaputska's done well up against the touchline on the left to give it infield to Mendy, onto Musa, back to Kaputska again, the young teenage Pole. He's now got to the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. Some supporters arrive from Damari Gray. Now across, Brighton's on the back post. 1-0 to Leicester, and it's helped in by King. Andy King, set up by Brighton, and he scores the goal that puts Leicester in front with exactly 1 minute played in the second half. It could only get better. It just has got better for Leicester City.
Well, we needed a spark, didn't we? It's come from Damari Gray. Damari Gray gets Cyrus Christie backed up into the penalty area. I think Christie should read it. He's gone onto his right foot every time he's gone into one-on-one situations, Damari Gray. He checks it back onto his right foot. Good little shimmy initially, but again, Mark Albright, as you mentioned, he gets himself beyond match power into a really good position. It's a difficult header for him as well, because he's almost on the byline. It's a simple task really at the end for King, but what a good header that is from Albright. And you say we needed it, the game needed a spark, and we've got it within a minute.
Yeah, 3 quality moments there. The cross from Damari Gray, the header back in by Albrighton, and then the the charge forward, if you like. I mean, the finish was easy for King, but to get into the position, showed ambition, showed playing on the front foot that just wasn't there in the first half. Very good goal for Leicester, for Andy King, who's got quite a history with Derby. Scored home and away against them in the 2010-11 season. He scored an own goal against Derby in 2009. He scored at the right end here, and he has broke the deadlock, and if ever a deadlock needed to be broken, it was this one.
Well, considering the game has lacked quality, particularly in the final third, that goal had every little bit of quality in that match. De Gray, who we spoke about in the first half, we were looking for him to provide a spark for us. He's provided that. Superb start to this half.
Andy King, in the history of Leicester City Football Club, is the highest scoring midfielder they have ever had, and that is a goal that is badly needed to drum a bit of life into this game. So how will Derby respond? All those instructions and enthusiasms that we could see on the BBC cameras inside the dressing room at half-time, I wonder how many of those are immediately out the window that Steve McLaren was ordering to his players now with this change in the complexion of the game.
Well, I have to confess, I was looking to both benches during that half-time, thinking who's going to give us a bit of spark off the bench. It's come now. Onus might be on McLaren, as you say now, to perhaps be a little bit more adventurous, send bodies forward. Spoke earlier on about Blackman up front, but it looked to me that McLaren was speaking to him. Not really been in the game, Blackman. Spoke about his goal scoring record since he's come to Derby. You're looking for more from him with his ability, but particularly just in open play, get hold of the ball. He hasn't done it enough in the first half.
So the goal came so early after the break, we didn't get a chance to give you the teams in full. Leicester with Ron Robert Zieler in goal, back four Daniel Amartre on the right hand side, Johan Benelwan alongside Marcin Vasilevsky in the middle, Ben Chilwell at left back. In midfield, Andy King, who scored the goal alongside Nampalys Mendy, Mark Albrighton on the right wing, Bartosz Kapuska on the left. Damari Gray's been covering that left side as well at times, and Ahmed Musa is the centre forward through the middle up front. Derby, Jonathan Mitchell has come into play in goal, Scott Carson's on the bench. Back four, Cyrus Christie, Richard Keogh, Jason Shackle and Max Lowe. Three in midfield, Jacob Butterfield, Bradley Johnson, Julian Dessart. Three up front, Camera, Blackman, Anya. Here come Leicester again. Damari Gray to the edge of the area, gives it to Musa. Musa back into the middle. Gray had continued the run, and then in his enthusiasm to get there, he pushes Shackle in the back, and that is a free kick to Derby. But much better attacking flow from Leicester.
And again, Damari Gray, he's the one that's picking up the ball, prepared to commit defenders. Max Power getting caught out initially, but once he sets Musa away, I just feel Musa, in delaying the strike, he allowed the angle to go against him. He's tried to pull it back into the path of Damari Gray, and it was a foul on Shackle that time. It was a little shove in the back. Not more than the first half. I spoke about the contact. Shackle went down very easy, but the referee bought it that time.
We have had so much better football in the opening 5 minutes of this second half than we did in the entire opening 45 minutes in the first period. Leicester have got their noses in front, and as things stand, Leicester will be going on to play at the New Den in the fifth round to take on Millwall. But Derby have got plenty of time to try and get back in this one. It's a much better game now.
Totally. And Conor, we spoke about Damari Gray in the first half. He is a real talent. You probably want to see it from him more consistently. He's a young man that will only get better with his ability, but Leicester City supporters have been asking for him to get more game time, certainly more starts.
Albrighton to Gray, 5 yards outside the penalty area. On his right foot, Damari Gray still running left to right along the edge of the box. Then he gives it to Amartre, back in field to King, back out to Amartre again. There are 10 men behind the ball for Derby, but there's a new swagger now to Leicester's play. They're in front. King tries to take it around Bradley Johnson. Johnson does well in a tight corner and hooks it away and out for a throw in. And Claudio Ranieri plays ball boy, and almost with a flourish he throws that to Daniel Amartre, and suddenly Leicester want to play. They want to get on the ball, and they're enjoying this game now that they're in front. Played forward by Vasilevsky, headed away on the edge of the Derby penalty area by Shackle. Bradley Johnson clears. Looked like a foul by Vasilevsky on Blackman. Blackman picks himself up the ground. Mike Jones, the referee, not interested. Here is Musa, back to goal, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Support from Mendy, and suddenly it's like Leicester are playing with an extra man. They've got room here. Gray on the right hand side, gets within a few paces of the corner flag, then almost nonchalantly rolls it under his studs. That's a really good cross, well held onto by the goalkeeper. Jonathan Mitchell holds it, and he needed to.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent from Gray again. Say, lovely little feet from him, wasn't he, when he gets into position. It was actually good goalkeeping from Mitchell to hold on to that. Looked a tricky one to deal with, but did well. But as you say, superb football. 1 and 2 touch passing. Albright and King involved. Marty getting forward as well, superb play.
Yeah, that was much more like it from Damari Gray, who seems to have started this second half on the right-hand side of attack. And there's a ball over the top for Anya, who is offside for Derby. Great pace to get into the position, but he just went too early.
Well, you say with Gray, he's actually started as a number 10, Connor. He went onto the left-hand side to win his team certainly to create the goal in the first place. A little change of position though with Kapuska. He's the one now that's gone out onto the left-hand side, and Gray's been given a free roll off Ahmed Musa, where we actually thought he would start the game.
Okay, Steve McLaren has put into action a plan to try and turn this around. He has brought on the former Watford striker Matej Vidra, the Czech player, and he has taken off Bradley Johnson. So that is a striker on for a midfielder. As Steve McLaren here looks to up the tempo and try and get Derby back into this game. Two up top now.
He probably needed to respond, didn't he? He needed to do something, because Leicester City now beginning to overrun Derby County.
Butterfield hacks it forward for Derby. It's just a lump up there, which Chilwell nods down and gives straight to Blackwell. Could be danger for Derby. Challenge comes in, firm from Ben Elwan, too firm in the referee's liking, and that is a foul on Blackman. It's a free kick to Derby. It is shooting position, about 4-5 paces outside the penalty area.
Yeah, Ben Elwan, I think it was actually contact behind initially. Ben Elwan, he looked like he'd won the ball. Blackman trying to commit. Didn't look much wrong with that, did they? It looked a first challenge to me.
Blackman falls rather clumsily, and I don't mean that he didn't dive with it, but the way he landed, his sort of head landed on the ground, his body flipped over the top, and I think it was that drama that sort of convinced the referee he must have been fouled. But I'm with you, Kevin. I think that was a good tackle.
Yeah, but Ben Elwan, he looked like he just won the ball, didn't he? It was a tough challenge, but certainly looked fair to me.
So, free kick to Derby, and a chance for them to try and get back on level terms. Leicester 1, Derby 0. Fourth round replay in the FA Cup. This is 5 Live from the BBC. We're also on the red button tonight as a commentary option, and it's been much more to commentate on here in this second half than what was a really poor first period. Let's see what Derby can do with this free kick. Camera standing over it, giving it a lot of attention. Hits it well on target, punched away by Zieler. It was straight at the goalkeeper. That made it easier for him. Here is Butterfield on the left, tries to cross, blocked down by Musa, and Musa runs it out of play. Throw into Derby, they will remain on the attack. Kevin Kilbar.
Yeah, excellent free kick. Bit of frustration around us. They felt that Zieler should have held on to it straight at him, but taking no chances. Getting his fist to it though.
Butterfield forward to Vidra, who's come on as a sub, lays it across the edge of the D. Leicester get it back again, and Damari Gray quickly up through the gears and running over the halfway line, and then eventually a heavy touch invites Richard Keogh to come in, but Keogh's not dealt with it very well. Chilwell comes to the overlap on the left-hand side, and Keogh eventually puts it out of play. Good counter-attacking speed from Leicester, the sort of thing we saw with regularity from them last season.
Yeah, Gray excellent there. You could see Richard Keogh, he recognises the pace of Gray. He's trying to back off and back deeper and deeper towards his penalty area. Gray spots that, but Gray just overran it a little bit.
Camera overruns it here for Derby, loses possession. Chilwell for Leicester on the left-hand side. It's very tight there as the ball is flicked on by Damari Gray, but flicked on into the empty penalty area, apart from goalkeeper Jonathan Mitchell, who comes out and gathers that unopposed. 10 minutes played in the second half. 1-0, Leicester City, the champions of England, lead Derby County.
Yeah, he's a player we spoke about, Gray, haven't we? Now, what is it now? He's been just over a year since signing from Birmingham City. I saw him play for Birmingham at Deepdale last season in the Championship, and I was really impressed with him. I thought this boy is going to be a real success wherever he goes to. He ended up then going to Leicester City, and he's a player now that we're looking now to get more game time, get more starts under his belt, because when he's on it and when he's producing, this boy's electric. Yeah,
he's only 20 years of age, Damari Gray. When he signed from Birmingham City, Leicester triggered his release clause, and it was £3.7 million, and that is a steal in modern
absolute bargain
football transfer parlance. This is a guy who, I think could go on to play for England for sure. He's so young, he's already impressed at the underage levels, and in a Leicester City team, remember, that haven't been playing well, he has still impressed. Here come Derby, trying to force a way back into the game. Butterfield's ball was intended for Anya, intercepted though. And this is Camera on the right-hand side for Leicester. Good movement initially, then he tries to shoot left-footed, and it's a daisy cutter, and it's poor, and it's wide, and it's a goal kick to Leicester, and they still lead 1-0.
Yeah, it is poor, Connor. Taking the shot on from that angle, from that distance, Kamara, he's putting his team back under pressure. He had options, he had Vidra, he had Blackman ahead of him. He'll be looking to pick one of his two strikers out there.
I'm just looking at the Derby substitutes this evening, and I wonder if Steve McLaren will be interested in bringing Tom Ince on. Tom Ince, who has scored 10 goals in his last 16 games. But then, there's a reason why McLaren made the 8 changes, and he's got big league games to come in. Yeah. How much does he want it now? That's the question.
That's the thing. I would imagine when we get to the stage, we'll probably get, in the next 10 minutes, of course we'll know, but in the next 10 minutes, I think McLaren will have to think, look, he's going to have to go for it. He can't come here and just go away with a 1-0 defeat and not go and try anything different. I think he has to change it at some stage.
And tell me this, Kevin, from a player's point of view, if you're inverted commas rested and you're played on the bench, if you come on for the last 10 minutes, how does that affect you in your preparation? Are you just as fresh at the weekend if you only play 10-15 minutes?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kapuska for Leicester, chipped it into the penalty area. Chilwell was at the back post, didn't come down for him. Good defending by Cyrus Christie, and Derby get it away, but only briefly. Back to Kevin for more on that in just a moment. Leicester have possession, attacking position on the left hand side. Mendy turns and gives it back into his own half. Yeah, so if you play 10-15 minutes midweek,
no effect.
Is there any effect? Right,
no effect at all. The thing, you're coming off the bench, you've travelled, you might lose out on a bit of sleep tonight, but you're making that back up. There's no issues at all going into the weekend.
But in terms of Tom Ince is here, he has travelled, so you might as well play him.
He's prepared, isn't it? He's prepared now. If you're going to give him the last 30 minutes of this game, the last 20 minutes of this game, he comes on, he makes an immediate impact. He'll still be totally fresh for the weekend.
Yeah, no Darren Bent tonight. He's not even on the bench. And if you look back, the last 25 goals that Derby have scored, 17 of them have either come from Bent or Ince. They are the creative sources. They are the men who find the back of the net. And I think Ince could be the player to change this. And I think it'll be the clearest indication. If Ince doesn't come on, then frankly Steve McLaren wasn't bothered tonight. He really, he's got bigger fish to fry elsewhere.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mark Chapman made a really good point at half-time about asking, do the players actually care? And my point was that if you're not in the manager's plans and you haven't been playing games, this is your big chance. Of course, you big audience as well, TV-wise as well. That does change the mindset. You can't underestimate that effect as well when you're playing live on television as well. It does change your mindset as a player, but you have to go and put yourself back in the manager's plans by putting in a big performance tonight, and we never saw it in the first half.
It was Akichi Anya, right wing for Derby. He's done well. He slipped and he got up again, and then he slipped a second time. And Albrighton with what looked to be a high leg on the edge of the penalty. It was a high leg. It's a free kick to Derby in shooting position. Anya, it's as if he'd no studs in his boots there. He was slipping and slopping all over the place, but in the end Derby get the free kick.
Yeah, it opened up for him as well.
Yep.
Albrighton's complaining. He feels as though that he's just won the ball, but it's a certain high boot, wasn't it? I know Butterfield did actually put his head down to receive that pass that was coming towards him, but it was a definite high boot. Dangerous play from Albrighton. Good decision there from Mike Jones.
So a free kick for Derby. Camara took the last one and hit it straight at the goalkeeper. And I wonder if there will be a change in approach this time round. Julian Dessart is standing there. I think he's trying to convince some of the teammates that he might be worth having a little pop at this. Camera still in attendance. And some of the defenders are coming forward from the back as well. This is an opportunity. Derby, who've had precious few chances in the game. We have played an hour. It's a free kick just right of centre and a shooting position for the visitors.
Yeah, I think Kamara fancies it. It looks to me like Dessart's just going to nudge it a yard or so. And Kamara coming on with a free strike here.
He's never scored for Derby. Abdul Kamara, here's his free kick and it's deflected in! Derby are back on level terms. It's 1-1. Kamara celebrates. It definitely took a wicked deflection, but with an hour played, it may even have had 2 deflections on the way through. Derby County will take this, and Leicester, who had been in front for a quarter of an hour, find themselves pegged back again. Leicester 1, Derby 1.
Well, he's certainly claiming it, Kamara. He feels as though he strikes on target. I'm with you, Conor. It looked to me like it took a couple of deflections. Zila, totally wrong-footed. He went for the initial strike. I think it's Albrighton. He's the one that's getting out. Or was it two deflections? I think the initial one's off Albrighton as he approaches, deflection off him, and then it's off Chilwell, isn't it? Chilwell, he's the one. I think it actually didn't take 2 deflections in the end. It just comes straight off Chilwell. Zila, totally wrong-footed. It was a decent enough strike from Kamara, and it was on target, so he will claim it, but good response from Derby County.
He will definitely claim it. He's been at Derby for a year. That's the first time he's been able to run to the fans in celebration. It wasn't the best free kick you've ever seen, but it took the deflection off the defender Chilwell, who was standing in the wall. He wasn't one of those who charged the free kick. He stood his ground, hit him. Zila was already diving that way, and it just pops comfortably into the other side. It is 1-1. We've had 2 goals in a quarter of an hour, and there's still nothing between these teams.
Much better half though, isn't it?
Much better.
We wanted a response, we wanted something just to give us a bit of life, we wanted to get the crowd on the feet, and we've got that now. We've got a game on.
Free kick to Derby. This one is further out near the touchline, but still an attacking platform, and Keogh has gone forward in the middle. Here comes the delivery, high into the box. Shackle tried to get a touch on it. Camera, the man who's claiming the goal, controls on the edge of the penalty area, does a little flick. Dessart then swivels and spins one high towards the edge of the D. That looked like a handball from Butterfield. Play on, says the referee. Vidras in the penalty area. Benelwan clumsily slides in, comes to Butterfield, hits it again. Good defending, this time by Amartri, who threw his body in front of it, and Leicester to a counter-attack. 2-on-2, played by Kaputska, too far in front of Musa, who will keep it in play, but he's had to run out towards the corner flag. It was a rush of blood to the head from the young Pole there. Now support arrives from Chilwell, takes it into the penalty area, 3 defenders around him, he slips and he's going to lose the ball, but it's become a proper cup tie. I'll tell you what, it's taken long enough, but it's a good game now.
Oh, it certainly is. You say just with Kapuska just over-hitting that pass, just feel as though when he's in that position, just keep driving with the ball. You've got enough trickery, you've got enough pace. Try and free Musa up on the edge of the area just by freeing that pass up too soon, over-hitting it. Just took all the wind out of Leicester City's sails.
Derby in possession, some wind in their sails now, certainly having got the equaliser here. And Leicester, who were just beginning to think that finally the dice was rolling in their favour, no, back on level terms again. Here is Christie, and is he pushed there? The assistant, I think, helps the referee with the judgment, and he says it is a foul. It's a free kick to Derby. They tried to take it quickly. Leicester hadn't gone back to 10, and that will be a retaken free kick. Suddenly, the momentum has changed.
They're the ones I spoke about in the first half. That's another one. It's a soft one. Christie gets a little bit of contact and just goes over very easily. I think the assistant at the far side is given that as well to help Mike Jones out, the referee, but keeps the pressure on, as you say. Derby responding really well now. They're right on the front foot going forward, and Anya again's come back into the game.
There is a girl in the Derby end wearing a pink hoodie top, and she has got the tinfoil FA Cup with Derby's name written on it, and she's proudly waving that in the air, and the feeling is that maybe Derby are on top now. Here comes the latest free kick, swung in from the right hand side, missed header at the front post. Leicester just about fumble it out of the box. Musa with a firmer clearance and hacks it away to the halfway line, where Max Lowe is the deepest lying defender for Derby. He pumps it forward, referee's assistant raises the flag on the far side. Blackman, I think, was offside. Free kick to Leicester. Kevin Kilbane.
There's another wide free kick or set piece that Leicester City haven't dealt with very well. I felt in the first half didn't really come to anything, but a few balls, even if they weren't great balls being played in from Derby, they weren't dealt with very well, and that time it was another good ball actually that time from Butterfield. But Leicester City's 2 central defenders getting themselves in the wrong position. I feel as though there's a real chance from set pieces here for Derby.
Latest in the FA Trophy, Chelmsford City 1, Tranmere 4, quarter of an hour thereabouts to go in that game. Here we've got 25 minutes to play. King Power Stadium, Leicester 1, Derby 1, the Emirates FA Cup. This is the 4th round replay. Foul on Musa by Shackle, and that will be a free kick to Leicester, who just need to get their composure back a little bit here, Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, exactly. I think he just allows Derby a little bit out of shape. It's a heavy challenge that. He's lucky to get away with that actually, Jason Shackle. Straight into the back of Musa. Tackle from behind, it's a poor one. Musa certainly felt it as well, lucky to get away without a booking there.
So free kick to Leicester, 15 yards into the Derby half. King, who scored the goal that had Leicester briefly in front this evening before the equaliser, and then no chances taken by Lowe, the fullback. He puts it out for a corner to Leicester on the right hand side.
Yeah, what I spoke about at half time as well, I think it was in the first half as well, kind of running off the ball. That's something now that both sides are doing. Albrighton there, it's a good ball played forward from Kapuska, but Albrighton taking a chance in looking to get beyond Derby County's defence.
Corner will be taken by Albrighton. He's had the assist for the Leicester goal tonight. Good delivery in, decent header back out again, goes out for a Leicester throw, and Albrighton himself takes it short to Kapuska. Good turn on Anya, but Camera was in behind, and now Derby will break with the Kichi Anya, the Scotland international, and like Keystone Cops, 4 Leicester players scampering after him and eventually bringing him to a halt to the halfway line. Lowe goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, and that's a good long clearance away. King with a free header on the halfway line. Kapuska chests it down. King with a cushioned header for Albrighton. Good little play. Oh, that's lovely. Round the corner of Lowe, and Albrighton runs around the other side to get it. Heads off towards the corner flag, and he's hacked down somewhat by Camera. That was almost an evidence of tiredness there coming into Camera. He just lazily swung the boot out. Free kick to Leicester.
Yeah, great skill initially from Albrighton, as you say. He doesn't need to make the challenge. Kamara. It looks like he's going nowhere there, Albrighton. He's going into the corner. Stay on your feet, track the run, deal with the danger. In diving in now, he's given a good chance here now for Albrighton to swing this cross in.
So Mark Albrighton, this is just a few yards away from the corner flag as Leicester attack down the right hand side. They have committed plenty of blue jerseys up into the penalty area, and Leicester have got all 11 back behind the ball here and defending. We are midway through the second half. 1-1 on 5 Live Sport. Good delivery, but very good goalkeeping. And the youngster comes, and Jonathan Mitchell claims it, and he did well there.
Yeah, commanding there for Mitchell. Had to as well, under a bit of pressure. But it's excellent from him. I've been impressed with him actually tonight. Be mistaken for thinking it's Kasper Schmeichel from a distance as well, wouldn't you?
He's only made one appearance for Derby. It was in the EFL Cup. His last campaign, last appearance came in the FA Cup win against Hartlepool. That was his only appearance last season, and he did make his debut for England under-21s this season back in November. So Jonathan Mitchell, just 21 years of age, a name to look out for in goalkeeping terms. Cross from Derby into the penalty area. Vidra lunged for it, and I think he has fouled the defender there rather than the other way around, and it's going to be a free kick out for Leicester.
Yeah, that's when the scorpion kick goes wrong. Vidra going for a scorpion kick there and catches Benalawan straight in the face.
It was Christie's cross from the right hand side, and he was trying to do the Olivier Giroud, the Mkhitaryan, and he didn't connect with the ball. He connected with the opponent. I tell you, brave defending by Ben Alwan.
Actually, I'll give him no credit there actually. Has to come through Vidra's trailing leg, heavy challenge, but yeah, credit him. Good defending there from Ben Alwan.
Well, we've got a break in play, some treatment for Ben Alwan. Where do you stand? Which would be your goal of the season if it does come down to those two? Which scorpion kick got your fancy?
Giroud. Well, do you know there's a debate as well because Mkhitaryan was offside as well. But that's not playing in my mind. I just think the build-up play and everything leading up to that Arsenal goal, I felt as though that was the better of the two. Yeah.
No, I think it's a really interesting conversation to have with people, because clearly, okay, if you're an Arsenal fan you say Giroud, if you're a Man United fan you say Mkhitaryan, but if you ask anyone else, you do get different opinion about it's almost like sort of the merits of figure skating or something. People are trying to find reasons why one was better than the other.
It looked the most spectacular when it comes off the crossbar. When I was a kid growing up, if the ball went in off the post or off the bar, it was always the better goal.
Absolutely. If you could score 2 goals that just hit the net or one that hit the post and went in, you would take the post every time. That is one of those unwritten rules of football in
Tony
the back garden.
Isn't it, for Leeds?
Yeah, exactly. That would not be remembered as well as it is if it hadn't hit the woodwork. And penalties that go in off the inside of the post are fantastic as well. Play back underway here. 20 minutes to go. If it stays 1-1, we will have extra time tonight on 5 Live Sport. Penalties if needed to get the winner between Leicester and Derby, and to see who goes through to the 5th round and goes to play Millwall. Will it be Steve McLaren? Will it be Claudio Ranieri, who did get to an FA Cup final with Chelsea, was beaten in the final by Arsenal, hoofed forward by Mendy for Leicester there, back into the Leicester half by Keogh for Derby, and now Lowe jumps and wins in the air with Albrighton. Camera, it's like head tennis at the moment around the halfway line. Mendy does well to get it down on the deck. Kapuska to the right wing for Leicester, and Albrighton looks up, 2 in the middle, sends it in low. I think he slipped there, Albrighton, as he hit that poor cross, and it goes for a throw into Leicester on the right hand side.
Both teams are getting bodies in advance of the ball now as well. Albrighton there in a crossing position. He's got 3 players to hit. Kapuska, Damari Gray and Musa all getting in advance of him into the penalty area as well. That's the positive thing about this half. Even when Derby on the other side as well looks so much better. I think with the addition or the introduction of Vidra, he's given Derby a bit of spark, and he's given them an extra body going forward as well.
So a throw in will be Derby's now. Lowe takes it, good length on that up towards the halfway line, and Blackman, who we've not really mentioned too much in a positive sense tonight, he's been running alone up front for a lot. Now that Vidra's come on, I think he's playing a little bit deeper, and he's not had any chances fall his way.
No, he hasn't been involved in the game. It's not been his night, Blackman.
This is King for Leicester. Oh, that's a good ball over the top. Albrighton manages to craft across into the middle, but out comes the goalkeeper Mitchell. Very good control from Mark Albrighton. That's the best he could have done from there.
Yeah, it was. He did well, actually, Albrighton, to get the crossing. But again, it's Albrighton that makes the run forward. He makes King's mind up for him. King gets his head up. He's in very little space, but he knows full well if he turns max power, Albrighton has the run on him.
Well, they're just above the relegation zone in the Premier League of Leicester City. If they do go down, they would be the first reigning top-flight champions to be relegated since Manchester City in 1938. It has happened before, but I don't think it's ever happened in quite the manner of Leicester City's story from 2 years ago this week being bottom of the league. This week last year they were top of the league, and it would be quite a yo-yo if they were to go down. Goal kick after Albrighton ran it to the byline on the right hand side. He thought it might have been a corner. It's a goal kick for Derby, and their goalkeeper Mitchell away to our right hand side. We mentioned Tom Ince is available on the bench for Derby. Leicester do have Riyad Mahrez and Okazaki and Slimani all available on the bench should they be needed. In fact, it's Derby who are going to make the next change, and Russell is going to come on. Johnny Russell, the Scotland player. We wait to see who'll be departing to make way for him. 17 minutes to go. King, who scored the Leicester goal tonight, just chips it forward, turns Shackle. Shackle puts it out for a throw. And a Marktree, back from the Africa Cup of Nations, who's playing it right back tonight for Leicester. He comes forward to take this throw. The change is that Abdul Kamara, the man whose free kick was deflected in for the Derby equaliser, certainly a goal he'll be claiming. He makes way, standing ovation for him from the Derby fans tonight. And on comes Johnny Russell, who's a speedy winger. And again, Steve McLaren looking like he's wanting to keep on the attacking pressure and go and try and find a winner. I guess we're talking about how much the managers wanted. They definitely don't want is extra time, so they might be a bit more enthused to get the winner here, just to avoid that extra half time.
You talk about Tom Ince as well. He's another one, of course, in form as well. You bring him on last 15 minutes of the game to make an impact for Derby County, of course, but yeah, you're spot on with that one, Connor. Certainly don't want extra time. They want this over within the next 15 minutes.
Ben Alwan stoops in and nods the ball on, but all he's doing here is giving it to Vidra. Vidra waits for support to arrive, as it does on the right hand side from Cyrus Christie, but good work by Mendy. Tell you what, he looked like N'Golo Kante there, the way he hunted down Christie and won the ball off him and came away with possession. But then Leicester get bogged down in midfield. A foul is committed onto Mari Gray, and that is a throw into the home side. 1-1, but good urgency here from two teams who don't want to go 120 minutes tonight, so they're going to throw caution to the wind. They're going to go for it now in the last quarter of an hour of regulation time here, as Chilwell gives it back behind him to Gray. King encourages Gray to keep going on that right wing, but he's outnumbered, so he gives it back again, and Derby will regain possession. Vidra with the green boots back to Desart, who's been neat and tidy in the middle of midfield, the man on loan from Middlesbrough at Derby. Here is Akichi Anya, who was released to show off his speed a couple of times in the first half, but he's been much more shackled in this second period. He's not been released at all.
It's better what he did there then, though, Connor. He ran into space that was in advance of him as well. He made Butterwell, or he freed up the space for Butterfield, to step into the space that he'd vacated. Then he can give him the ball into the final third. Much better from Anya.
Alright, well, assuming this does end at the 90 minutes, get in touch with us for the 5 Live Football social. 0500 909 693, the number to get involved. Get your voice on the radio tonight with Mark Chapman back in the studio, with Kevin Kilban here at the King Power Stadium. 0500 909 693, talking all things FA Cup and Leicester and Derby and all the other football stories for this week. At the moment there are 14 minutes to play here, and let's see if one of these teams can come up with a winner to end this game on 90 minutes. Gary Lineker, prolific tweeter of course, just before the Derby goal he tweeted, "Leicester are back. I'd have settled for winning the FA Cup and the Champions League at the beginning of the season." And then Derby scored the equaliser. But such has been the Leicester fairy tale, who knows what they can go on and do. But they are still in the FA Cup, they are still in the Champions League, and for now certainly they are still in the Premier League. Not quite the hunt for the title this time. Here comes Christie's cross from the right hand side, looking for Vidra. Ben Alwan is in the penalty area and clears it away up towards Musa. And again, he had that good chance in the first half, Musa, but he's been living off scraps apart from that.
Yeah, he's been quite isolated as the game's gone on, really, and I think both Shackle and Keogh up against him, I think they've done very well.
Here come Derby. This is Blackman Russell, the substitute, on the right wing. He's all left foot. Good ball though, low to the feet of another Scot, Akichi Anya. Now back to Christie, and Christie's going to lose it here to the impressive Chilwell. Ben Chilwell comes away with the ball, does a little trick as well on Christie. Christie battles back and wins it for Derby, and then Chilwell fouls him at a free kick to the visitors, and they take it quickly, and the high tempo remains in the game. Good attempt by Russell to thread one through for Vidra, and it's an important interception by Mendy, but Leicester can't hold on to the ball at the moment.
I've been impressed with Ben Alohan tonight for Leicester. I haven't seen enough of him, of course, not got a lot of game time, but positional sense, as the game's gone on, I spoke about him in the first half alongside Vasilevsky. I thought they were too wide, but positional sense, they've taken the position off each other better as the game's progressed.
Leicester 1, Derby 1. This is 5 Live from the BBC. 78 minutes on the clock, and Ben Alohan clears the ball away. It's the Ben Alohan Vasilevsky combination at the heart of the Leicester defence. Now, chance for Leicester. Musa coming on the charge. 4 up in attack. 5 defenders. Musa turns, drills it low across the edge of the penalty area to pick out Mark Albrighton on the right hand side. Sends it back into the middle. Musa threw himself bravely at it, but it's firmly headed away by Richard Keogh. Leicester regain possession again. Armatri is up from right back. He's got support from Damari Gray. Low ball in towards the edge of the penalty area. Good defending back there though by Julian Dessart, and Derby will clear it away, but Leicester get it back on the halfway line. It's 1-1.
Well, the thing is, when both sides are now getting into the final third, they're prepared to put crosses in. They're prepared to try and force errors. Excellent defensive header there from Richard Keogh as Musa was on the move trying to get a crossing, but Keogh read the flight of that Albrighton cross, got on the end of it himself.
Derby, who've only got further than this stage, the fourth round, once in the last 6 seasons. They've come here tonight, 8 changes, and soon they will be facing last year's Player of the Year, Riyad Mahrez, who's not been able to match the level of performance from last season so far. But there is no doubt that no opponent is going to be pleased to see him coming on for the last 10 minutes with fresh legs to play against you. We wait to see who'll be leaving the field to allow Mahrez to come on. For the moment though, Dessart in possession on the halfway line for Derby. That's an excellent pass, picked right the way through midfield onto Nick Blackman. A cold breeze comes whipping across the King Power Stadium. Johnny Russell cuts it up the right, took a deflection, well held onto by the goalkeeper Zieler. It definitely glanced off someone on the way through, but it didn't sufficiently detract the movement of the ball, and Zieler made the save.
Yeah, he did very well there, Zieler. Had to read the flight of the ball, and it was bouncing just in front of him well as well, aside from the deflection off Ben Alohan, but he did well to hold on to it there, Zieler, picking up the flight of the shot very well.
Right, here is the change, and Riyad Mahrez will come on in place of the youngster Bartosz Kapuska, who I think impressed in flashes tonight. We'll be seeing more of him, I'm sure. Yet to make his Premier League debut, but he's done well here in the FA Cup. But a real local hero comes on now, Riyad Mahrez, Leicester's top scorer for this campaign. He's on with exactly 10 minutes to go. Yeah,
I think he has done well, Kapuska. Mahrez is playing a more advanced role. It looks to me like he's playing a little inside forward position really, alongside Damari Gray off Ahmed Musa. Little change of system here for Ranieri.
Martry takes a throw in. First touch from Mahrez is to help it into the path of King. King surges into the penalty area, tries to cut it back, and it's put out by Keogh for a corner. Corner to Leicester. Mahrez with an instant impact.
Yeah, excellent ball forward, but Mahrez again, he's prepared to make that run. So it was actually King, wasn't it? King getting in advance of Shackle that time.
Yeah, Morris flicking it on to King. King into the penalty area. Here comes the corner. Albrighton on the right hand side. King's header. Oh, glances. It may even have hit the woodwork. It went across the face of goal and eventually out for a goal kick. And Andy King so close to his second goal of the game and restoring Leicester's lead.
Oh, it was an excellent run, wasn't it? He gets across Christie. It's begging for someone just to pull away at the far post, be on the move and get yourself a tap in.
Good player, Andy King. One club man. Spent all his career at Leicester. Glanced on that header and it's so close.
Everyone had made the run near post. There was no one prepared to go and be committed. Get across your own man. Get yourself into the 6-yard box. You get a tap in.
Now, a return to the King Power Stadium for a man who was a real hero here at one time. David Nugent, former Leicester City striker, is about to come on here for Derby, and he will take the place of Nick Blackman, who, as we mentioned, was really living off scraps. He didn't get any chance to impress tonight. Most of his work was done with his back to goal, but Nugent, who of course you know well from his Preston days, Kevin, he's come on to lead the line.
Yeah, excellent. Certainly during his Preston North End days, excellent. And he's had an excellent career for himself, of course, hasn't he? Portsmouth as well.
Here is Mahrez, helps the ball ahead of Damari Gray. Lovely pass from Riyad Mahrez. Gray surges into the penalty area. It's a great run. He was nudged just at the end of it by Shackle, and enough to put him off his stride. And it will be a goal kick, but that was real raw pace and acceleration by Damari Gray, but no shot at the end of it.
Yeah, it was excellent burst, but what defending that is from Shackle, particularly when Damari Gray's running at pace. High five from his centre-half partner there, Shackle, with Richard Keogh.
It's a great tackle. We're just seeing a replay on our monitors.
It was a great tackle.
Top quality. 8 minutes to play.
Say about Nugent as well, getting his first cap for England as a Preston North End player as well.
And didn't he score in the game? It was like a real tap in from 2 inches.
Yeah,
I remember
it looked like
that.
the ball was going over the line, I think, and he tapped it in to make sure.
Anyway, I'll have that on my England debut. And this is Ikichi Anya on the left-hand side. Rolls it in front of Vidra. He salted dummy to Mendy. Good work from Vidra. He's into the penalty area. Amati challenges him. No penalty, says the referee. Shake of the head from Mike Jones.
He's looking for it, isn't he? Excellent skill initially from Vidra to get away from Amati.
Ball over the top for Leicester. Moose is chasing after this. Goalkeeper's committed himself. Oh, he's done well. He didn't handle it. Mitchell came out and he stomached. Well, I think he stomached the ball away. He was certainly outside the penalty area. Leicester fans complaining. Musa is complaining to such an extent that he has been booked. A yellow card for Ahmed Musa because of his shouting in the face of the referee that should have been a penalty. We've not seen a replay yet. We're about to get to see it now. Does he handle the ball here, the goalkeeper, as he comes out? He does! It's a handball! It's a blatant handball outside the penalty. He could have been sent off for that, you know. He has gotten away with it somehow, and with 6 minutes to play, that could be critical to the outcome of this game.
Oh, he knows, doesn't he? Musa is so disappointed because he's round Mitchell as well. What a chance that was for Leicester City.
I've seen that before. I've seen goalkeepers run out like that, handle the ball and be shown straight red cards.
Is that an official term? He stomached the ball.
Stomached us, yeah.
Is that a term down in Limerick, is it?
That is, in Limerick we have the stomach for these sort of things. And initially, in real time, and this is obviously what the referee thought. I'm further away, but I thought it was his stomach. The replay shows it was definitely his hand.
The only one who could possibly make that call, I mean, you see, the referee's making the decision. It looks as though he didn't have the greatest of angle. And I know he's quite far away, but the assistant that's on the far side, he's looking directly at it. Whether or not his view is obscured, I don't know. But it was a difficult one for the referee to call Mike Jones.
See, Kevin, you're an athlete. You don't really have a stomach. For the rest of us, it's part of our armoury. You know, it's a tool we use in the game.
Yeah, I've never heard that term before. That's all. It's a new one on me,
It's
Connor.
a new one on me. That's the joy of football commentary. You begin sentences that you have no idea where they're going. It's 1-1 here on 5 Live Sport. It was a terrible first half. It's a much better second period here. We might be about to get an extra half hour because just 4.5 minutes of normal time remain. It's 1-1 between Leicester and Derby. We need a winner tonight, so there will be extra time. Penalties if needed. The goals tonight from King and a camera free kick that was deflected off a Leicester defender. And Anya, I think, has done enough here to win it. Oh, I thought that was a corner. Referee says goal kick. Anya can't believe it. Goal kick to Leicester.
Yeah, whether or not the actual last contact there come from Anya. We're just actually seeing the replay of the Vidra appeal for the penalty. It's contact again though. Mike Jones in a good position, but Amati actually, look, it's knee to knee, but there is contact. I think that's a free kick. I think again.
It's a penalty if it is, because it's in the air.
No, sorry, I think it's a foul, should I say? Yeah. And Vidra, there's contact on him. I think it's a penalty. It's another one. It's quite soft because Vidra's going over, but I think that's a penalty. So unlucky there for Derby.
King in the midfield for Leicester sends it forward, and Shackle clears it out for a throw-in. Throw-in to Leicester, right-hand side as they come forward. Don't forget, if it does end at 90 minutes here, we've got the 5 Live Football Social A few questions. Is the fact Leicester are champions, is that what's keeping Ranieri in a job? Should FA Cup replays be scrapped? We never want to talk about that. 0500 909 693. Do referees need help with these decisions? Myself and Kevin are analysing a lot of things, and let's be honest,
that's a great point.
We get different opinions. In real time, I thought he stomached it there. I see a replay, seconds later I say no, it's a handball. Should the referees have access to that technology that I have here in the commentary box?
Totally. How long did it take for it to come through to us as well, Connor? That's the thing.
Seconds, absolutely. I don't think play had even resumed. And the Vidra challenge, just a couple of different replays, and you get a different view on that. Should referees be helped out with these decisions? 0500 909 693. Mark Chapman in the studio, Kevin Kilbad here inside the King Power Stadium. Leicester 1, Derby 1. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Cyrus Christie up from right back for Derby, crossing position, too high for Anya. Miscue by Vasilevsky, but it's miscued back into the arms of his own goalkeeper Zieler, and a bit of a let off for Leicester there.
Yeah, another ball played in that's not dealt with perfectly. That time Vasilevsky didn't deal with that well.
Albrighton goes long, Mahrez chases after it down the right wing. Good defending by Kyo, kept it in play as well, and picks out Anya. And this is Butterfield, back to Anya again. Good defending by Amatri to win it back for Leicester, and now Albrighton has run through low like he wasn't even there. It's a crossing position for Leicester. Is there to be a late goal? Header on by Musa, straight to the goalkeeper, and saved by Jonathan Mitchell.
Brilliant from Albrighton. They skipped by a couple of challenges, but once he gets back past low, should I say, and in that advanced position, gets his head up, he sees the movement from Musa, just clips it up for him. Probably the lack of pace on the cross that went against Musa in the end. He had having to direct the header and then generate power. Difficult one for him really to beat Mitchell from that position.
Yes, a chance for Ahmed Musa. 4 goals in all competitions since joining Leicester. Chosen ahead of Vardy to lead the line tonight. Jamie Vardy not even on the bench this evening. He's been kept in reserve for the game against Swansea on Sunday. Here comes Riyad Mahrez, bearing down on the penalty area. Good tackle by Shackle. Just lunged in, gets the ball off Mahrez, and this is Russell for Derby. And a carbon copy of what Albrighton did. He put it one side of the defender, ran around the other. This time King was sliding in to win the ball back. These players don't want extra time. They're throwing the kitchen sink at it now. Musa, crossing position on the left. No one in the middle. Lowe puts it off his own post. Max Lowe. Well, that was his stomach, and it hit the post. He nearly scored an own goal right at the very end. In the 90th minute, Max Lowe has played the ball off his stomach onto the post. Deary me, how did that not go in?
What is he thinking, Connor?
There's nobody near him.
There isn't. He's trying to stomach kick. I'm going to use that phrase now. He's trying to put it behind for a corner. Gets it horribly wrong there, Max Lowe.
It almost all came crashing down for Derby. It is still 1-1. It's a huge let-up. There was no one. It was a cross into the penalty area. There was no one forward for Leicester, and Lowe just panicked. He froze. It hit him, and it hit the post.
Well, as the cross went, and I'm actually looking to Albrighton at the far post. Go and commit yourself. Go and try and get across the fullback. Go and try and get across Lowe. He doesn't. He stays out.
There's a nice scene down in the technical area there where Leicester were just faffing about really before taking a throw in, and Steve McLaren ran over to sort of urge Amarty to get on with it, and he ran across in front of Claudio Ranieri, and as he came back they both embraced in a hug, and they're seeing the ridiculousness of this, because neither of these managers, with big games to come in the league of the weekend, for Leicester, Champions League commitments to come, the last thing on earth they wanted was this replay tonight, and even less than that is the prospect of extra time this evening. And it's a bit gallows humour down there as they watch their teams play out this 1-1 draw. But Leicester hitting the post in the 90th minute. We are in stoppage time at the end of the regulation 90 minutes. Anya on the ball for Derby. Gives it back to Butterfield. This is a good thrusting run through the middle of the midfield, but when he tries to play it up to Nugent, it's cut out, and Mahrez will pick it up for Leicester, and he gives it to Damari Gray. It hit his hand, not intentionally. Play on, says the referee. King picks it up for Leicester, gives it back to Gray. That's a great turn, chance to shoot. Excellent tackle once again. Kyo's had a good game at the back for Derby, and now Albrighton crosses from the right. Musa tries to get up. It's Shackle this time who puts it out for a corner in stoppage time at the end of this cup tie at the King Power Stadium.
Yeah, you're right. Richie Keogh with a superb challenge. What a ball that was, played in again from Albrighton on the run, going away from goal. Such a difficult cross to try and turn your body and put pace on the cross, but Albrighton He's the master at that.
It's been a very good second half here at the King Power Stadium. Both teams have scored. It's level, and we're running out of time for this to end in the 90. Here comes the corner. Swung in. Chilwell was at the front post. Can't get a touch. Goes back out to Gray. Now he's looking up and he's got 5 or 6 still in there. This needs to be a good cross. Headed straight up into the air at the front post by Lowe. This is Vasilevsky. Big man turned and hit it. There's appeals that it hit an arm. Nothing doing with the referee, and the ball goes out for a throw into Leicester.
Yeah, there's no pressure on Vasilevsky there. Able to bring the ball down and get the strike away.
That's really good this now. I have to say, if it goes to extra time, that won't be the worst thing.
No.
Earlier in this match, I was dreading the thought of it, but now it's going to be okay, I think. Here is Amar.
How this was in the first half, Connor.
Yeah.
What a half this has been.
Mendy tries to push it forward. Butterfield intercepts. This is Russell for Derby. There is still time for a winner. Let's see if Derby can do it here. Nugent coming forward. He's got Vidra in front of him. Christie from right back. Chilwell does so well. Oh, he's a Rolls Royce of a fullback, this youngster. Chilwell wins the ball off Christie, and now it's Leicester's chance to go forward. Look at the watch from Mike Jones. Wonder if he wants the extra 30 minutes. He might give this an extra few seconds to see if they can finish it off in regulation. This is Albrighton on the right hand side. Amartey to Mahrez. Could be the last chance. Onto his right boot. Into the penalty area. Tries to hit it left footed. Shackle with a good block. Came off his shins. Now Mendy comes, and there is the whistle to end the 90 minutes. But we are not over for this evening at the King Power Stadium. It is 1-1. We're going to have an extra 30 minutes. It's Leicester 1, Derby 1. Mark Chapman. We certainly will. I think, look, this is a game that has gradually improved, hasn't it? Terrible first half, really good second half. Let's hope for a cracking period of extra time. Musa is the man who departs to allow Islam Slimani to come on for Leicester, and Ndidi will be taking the place. Who's he coming on for? Mendy. It is Mendy. That's ridiculous that Mendy had to stand there for all that time and eventually walk off the pitch. So Ndidi, who's been a regular starter in the Premier League recently, he comes on into the middle of the midfield, and Leicester have now made their 3 changes. Neither manager would have wanted this extra half hour, but now that they're here, they might as well go for it.
Exactly. Let's get the game done now. You're bringing the lads on. This half an hour, or the extra half an hour for the substitutions, won't make a difference, but been impressed with Damari Gray tonight. Really impressed me in the first half in 1 or 2 moments. It was brief at times, but in the second half he came to life, went in the more central position, and that certainly brought him to life in that position in general. So I think he's one who's certainly impressed Ranieri tonight, yes.
So Leicester back to playing right to left as we look down. The blue shirts, shorts and socks. Derby in the white shirts, black shorts and white socks, playing from left to right. And Damari Gray gives it to Chilwell, who continues to impress. He's been really good tonight. This is Andy King, who scored the goal for Leicester, and he helps it on towards Riyad Mahrez, who came on towards the end of the 90. Back to King, crossing position the left hand side, and held on to by the goalkeeper Jonathan Mitchell. Well, for me it's the big talking point. He handled it outside the box. That would have changed everything.
Yeah, totally. Just saw footage of the referee Mike Jones's angle, Connor. It was a difficult one for him. There was bodies in the way. Difficult one for him to assess and actually make the decision. So they're the one, as maybe Mark Chapman was alluding to at half time as well. Such a difficult call for the officials, really happening at such speed.
Butterfield helps it out into space to Max Lowe. He hit the post, of course, right at the death of stoppage time. With the game gone past 90 minutes, that could have changed it. But it's a match that has gone into extra time here, and we still wait to see who will go through to play Millwall at the New Den in the 5th round. Millwall, who've already claimed 2 Premier League scalps. As Johnny Russell helps the ball in field, and good challenge by Vasilevsky to win it back for Leicester. Here is Ndidi, the fresh legs, he's just come on. Up to Slimani, who's in the same situation. Mahrez to the near side to Chilwell, helped on to Gray. Chilwell goes on the overlap ahead of Damari Gray, who holds onto possession here, cuts onto his right boot, sends in the cross, not a great angle on it, easily cleared away by Richard Keogh, but Mahrez picks up the ball, and Derby almost hesitated there in midfield. Slimani, challenged by Butterfield, up to Dave Nugent, back on very familiar territory here at the King Power Stadium. Of course, it was the Walker Stadium when he was here. Here he is, Nugent, out to Anya on the right hand side. He's got Martry with him. He's pirouettes around 360 degrees, does 2 step overs. Ikichi Anya, he'll do well to deliver a cross. All he can do is send it back to Lowe, but that's a better ball infield to Butterfield. Leicester have got 10 back behind the ball. Left-footed cross, straight to Vasilevsky. Stretching on the edge of the penalty area, no real firm touch there. Nugent was able to nip in and get possession. Derby hold on to it here. They will remain on the attack. It's Christie on the right-hand side. Gray back the nearest defender to him. Gives it infield to Vidra, who was the first substitute to come on tonight. Back out to Christie on the right-hand side. We have played 3 minutes in extra time, and Derby looking to get in front for the first time this evening, but it breaks down and cleared away by Ben Alwan.
Yeah, just back in position there. Leicester seeing it through. I think a little bit there. It's just quite happy, just quite content at the moment, just to get back into shape. Leicester see these spells through and then try to get Mahrez on the ball. That's the thing. So this is Derby coming forward with Lowe on the left-hand side, and Anya just plays a little quick 1-2 with him. Derby have seen a lot of ball in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Butterfield gets to the edge of the penalty area. Vasilevsky makes the interception and clears it to Albrighton on the right, who at times tonight has shown some glimpses of the sort of form he had last season. Very impressive tonight. Chance for Ndidi. Oh my word, what a goal! He has struck it from outside the penalty area, left-footed. There appeared to be no danger. It's gone in off the post. It has beaten Jonathan Mitchell, and for the second time tonight, Leicester City have got themselves in front. That was a pile driver from Ndidi. What a way to score your first goal for the club. What a goal, Connor. Do you know the one thing he's done since he's come on, Ndidi? He's passed the ball forward. He's passed it forward and followed his passes. He's been excellent since coming on, Ndidi. And when he gets into position there, he's prepared to drive forward with the ball initially, get himself in a bit of space. Didn't have too much support, it has to be said, but what a strike. What a brilliant strike beyond Mitchell's post. And we spoke about balls going in off the post, how they look better when they do that. And that's exactly like that, in off the near post. Brilliant finish, wasn't it? Well, that will have captured the imagination of the viewing public on BBC One tonight. Goalkeeper gets across, does everything he can. I think he gets a slight touch on it, Connor, too, actually, the goalkeeper, Mitchell. The power on that shot from Onion Ndidi, the Nigerian, signed for £17 million from Genk in January. He scored twice this season for Genk, and that is his first goal in English football, first goal for Leicester. He'll do well to get a better one in his time at the club. I just mentioned there, he's been positive, Connor. Just looking at his, so often you see midfielders coming into the game, certainly central midfielders play the way into the game, pass it sideways, pass it backwards, get a few touches on the ball, but he's not done that. He's passed it forward to Slimani, he's got Slimani in the game quickly, and when he's found himself in that little bit of space, he's been prepared to drive, even though he's only run the pitch 5 minutes, and that was a brilliant finish from him. What a strike. Really, really good. Leicester City, the only side in the top 4 tiers of English football who have yet to score in the league in 2017, but they have now scored twice tonight in the FA Cup. And indeed his goal is very special, worth looking out for on BBC television later on. I know they show the goals, the FA Cup goals on the BBC website. They turn them around very quickly, so if you go to BBC Sport online, you'll be able to see the images of that. That was a quality goal from Ndidi. But will it be enough to win this game? We have played 6.5 minutes of extra time. Still plenty of time available for Derby to get back in the game. But here is Albrighton down the right hand side, manages to swing in across too close to the goalkeeper. Mitchell makes the save. Yeah, it was a big challenge in the corner there from Lowe, as Albrighton looked like he had half a yard of space to get himself set to try and find Slimani in the area with the cross. Good movement from Slimani, actually. Yeah, Ndidi on the ball again, rolls it across to King. And this is Albrighton on the right hand side. Derby have come back from a goal down already tonight. Can they do it a second time? This is Armati in field to Ndidi, and he's sent it out high towards Albrighton, who cleverly stooped down, allowed it to go over his head. He's got past Lowe, swings it in low to Slimani. Slimani, I think, stood on the ball as much as anything. There's appeals, he might have been fouled. Kevin thinks he's been fouled. That's a pen. I think that is a pen. Good awareness from Albrighton. And Slimani, he's got the wrong side of think it's Richard Keogh again. Keogh gets nothing. That's a clear penalty. I could see it straight away. You can tell, clear penalty. Richard Keogh, total wrong side, doesn't get anything on the ball. That's a bad decision, actually. I think that's that is one. That is a clear penalty. The other ones tonight were a little bit, you know, you can see indecision, and it's a difficult one for Mike Jones to see, but that is as clear a penalty. That is a stone wall of that.
So Derby 2-1 down away from home here, but have ridden their luck with the goalkeeper Mitchell clearly handling outside the penalty area towards the end of 90 minutes. With that looking to be a penalty for the foul by Keogh and Slimani. Really, Leicester might have been a few more ahead. But 2-1 it is, and Derby still in with a chance here. Just saw an image of Steve McLaren, the Derby coach, on our monitors, and he's shaking his head down on the touchline.
It might have been a foul in the build-up to that as well, actually, with... It was actually Max Lowe that was fouled from Albrighton. Might have been. We've not seen a replay of that one, but I think he just lent in Albrighton to Max Lowe as he was going to make the challenge for the high ball. But that was a certain penalty. That is a stick-on penalty.
Here is Lowe, left-hand side for Derby, floats it into the penalty area. And Nugent had made a run, but it sails over his head and carries on through to Ron Robert-Zieler, the Swiss goalkeeper. So 9 minutes almost played in extra time, the first half of extra time here at the King Power Stadium. This is 5 Live Sport from the BBC. This game also on BBC One television tonight. And if you are watching on the television, you can press the red button, you can get to hear our 5 Live commentary in sync with the pictures. 2-1, goals from King and a really special one from Ndidi. Here is Butterfield for Derby, inside the centre circle, lays it off to Julian Dessart. To the near touchline is Cyrus Christie, who was in the Irish squad at Euro 2016. On now to Dave Nugent, turns in a tight corner, gives it infield to Russell. Back again now to Christie and into the midfield. Oh, that was a dicey ball. And Butterfield did well to get there ahead of Slimani, but it's back to square one for Derby, and they're back with the central defenders on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, they're quite content just to sit in, but there's a real threat to Leicester when they're doing this. Which is back to the Leicester of old, isn't it, really? Sit in, soak up the pressure. They're allowing Derby possession at the moment, but look at Mahrez's position. Mahrez is back in, he's almost in the half defensive role. He knows full well when Leicester City win the ball, he's the one that's prepared to pounce and get forward quickly in support of Slimani.
Cross from Christie. Ben Alwan wasn't very firm with his attempt to clear it away. Russell has it here on the edge of the box, trying to return disguised pass to Anya. Ben Alwan this time gets a touch on it, again not very firm though, and Derby will remain on the attack here with Christie on the right hand side. He'll do well to keep this in play, and he's relieved of possession by Tamari Gray. So chance of a counter attack for Leicester, with Derby pushing players forward in search of an equaliser. Tamari Gray, no interest in going for the corner flag. He comes infield into the penalty area. Macy dribble, sends it across. How on earth did Slimani not score that? It's gone through his legs, and he's a metre from the goal line. The goalkeeper was out of the equation. Damari Gray has laid that on a plate, and Islam Slimani has dropped the plate on the floor.
Well, he's been the most impressive player for Leicester City tonight, Damari Gray. It's a tap-in. That is a tap-in. 3 yards out from goal. As you say, the goalkeeper's out of position. Mitchell's beyond the near post, and Damari Gray knows that he's created a glaring opportunity for Slimani, and he should be scoring.
Quite simply, you have got to score from there. Islam Slimani, 6 goals this season for Leicester City.
The only thing I can say is he takes the eye off the ball. There's no pace on the cross really. It was perfectly weighted from Damari Gray, and you can't say anything. That's just as bad a miss as you're going to see.
That's what you get for £30 million these days. That's bargain. The reported fee from Portuguese football, Sporting Lisbon. Here he is now, Slimani, scored a lot of goals in Portugal. Back to Mahrez infield. Oh, indeed, he's on a run here, having scored that worldie earlier on, but can't control it outside the penalty area. Derby get the chance to break away.
Just got to be careful, Leicester, at the moment. Just getting bodies forward, as you say. Indeed, he's getting beyond Mahrez, when Mahrez and Slimani don't really have quite comfortable possession. Damari Gray as well, he's another one, a bit free-spirited down the left-hand side. So just got to maybe sit in, try and soak it up a little bit, as I was speaking about maybe 5 minutes or so ago.
The stadium clock shows 102 minutes played in the game. To start with a little back heel on the halfway line to Christie. Infield now to Jacob Butterfield, the former Barnsley and Middlesbrough player. And out to the left-hand side to young Max Lowe, the teenager, who certainly got away with one tonight when the ball that came off his stomach, his chest, and hit the post. That was just before the end of the 90 minutes. That could have ended it there and then. As it is, we've gone into extra time. Leicester have got their noses in front again. World-class goal from Ndidi. And is there a way back into this for Derby now? 8 changes in their starting lineup tonight, away from home against the Premier League champions, albeit Leicester haven't really looked like champs for a while. But Leicester sitting deep at the moment, inviting Derby onto them here. Richard Keogh, who's a central defender, is up to within 5 yards of the penalty area. Gives it to the right-hand side to Christie. Damari Gray trying to keep goal side of him. Good cross. Russell's header off target. It was a chance.
Yeah, it was a chance. Free header there for Johnny Russell. Excellent from Cyrus Christie. Down the right-hand side, committing Damari Gray. Not comfortable in the full-back position there, Damari Gray. It's actually a difficult one for Johnny Russell. There's a lot of pace on the cross. Again, he's beyond the near post. He's trying to direct it on target. But if he does, you say all he needs to do that really is just try and guide that ball on target. There's enough pace on the cross. Just too much for Johnny Russell in the end, though.
Leicester 2, Derby 1 in the Emirates FA Cup. Here on 5 Live from the BBC. Clearance by Ron Robert Zieler, who's in goal tonight. He had a Schmeichel, much rested team from Claudio Ranieri. 10 changes from the team that started the 3-0 defeat to Manchester United on Sunday. Vasilevsky slides in and puts the ball out of play in a challenge with Nugent, and that's a throw in for Derby on the far side. Lowe takes it, gets it back from Butterfield. This is on the halfway line. Derby playing left to right as we look down. Still plenty of time for them to get back into this. We've a minute to go in the first half of extra time and another quarter of an hour to play. Mark Chapman, this is your alert that I am going to hand back to you at the end of the first half of extra time, just so you are expecting it and not caught out cold. Here is Christie into a crossing position on the right hand side, tried to just prod it in with the outside of his right boot, but it's controlled by Albrighton. He passes to Mahrez. Derby again had committed players forward, so Mahrez looking up to see if there was a searching pass that could be made, but takes the safer option of back infield to King, and now back to Gray. And Leicester, Gray's clearance is charged down by Russell, but Chilwell was behind him, and Chilwell clears it away high and up to the halfway line, where Keogh wins the header. Ndidi, neat and tidy to Amarty, who, we've not really seen him play right back before. He's done okay there tonight, Kevin?
Yeah, he has actually done a good job, particularly in the first 10 minutes. We spoke about Anya, who was having an impact in the game, wasn't he? But as the game's gone on, Anya's, we haven't seen hardly anything of him really. We've not seen him make that, or we haven't seen him capitalise on the immediate impact that he made on the match.
1 minute been added on for stoppages at the end of this first half in extra time. Leicester leading Derby 2-1. I've heard that frustration from some Scotland fans as well. When Anya's on it, he looks brilliant, but sometimes he can go missing in a game for periods. Here he is on the ball, right foot across into the middle. The goalkeeper came. Banelwan headed away from him, and I don't think Amarty's kept that in. No, corner in stoppage time at the end of the first half of extra time. It is a corner to Derby, and they will want to make this count.
Well, it is actually good defending there from Banelwan. He doesn't know what's behind him. Zieler's coming out. Little bit of, he's in no man's land really there, Zieler, but we've seen constantly tonight that Derby have been a threat from set pieces, and Leicester haven't defended them well.
Butterfield takes the corner, hanging in the air. Keogh tries to get to it. Indeed, he does well to head it away. Damari Gray will pick it up. Referee glances the watch. I think that's going to be that. Yes, indeed. Half time in extra time. Leicester in front. Will they hold on to it this time? Leicester 2, Derby 1. Mark Chapman. Thank you very much. So first half was terrible. Second half was really good. Extra time has been decent, and let's have this final 15 minutes now to see it off with a flourish. If Derby were to resurrect an equaliser, well, it could be penalties, but Leicester City will be hoping it doesn't come to that. Slimani could have put this game to bed with a goal to give Leicester a 2-goal lead. He's missed a sitter, and let's see what's now in store as Mike Jones gets ready to restart the game. Leicester, who've made 3 substitutions, Derby, who've made 3 substitutions. There's nothing else the managers can do to affect things now in terms of personnel. So let's see what these 22 players on the pitch can give us, and hopefully a real good flourish to a game that we'll remember rather than the dullness of the first half. Leicester 2, Derby 1. Russell on the ball, gives it across the halfway line to Max Lowe, and he'll turn under pressure from Mahrez and give it to Shackle just inside him. And Derby playing with 3 up top now. Anya on the left hand side, Russell on the right, Nugent through the middle with Vidra in behind them as well, so it's effectively 4 up front really. Here is Vidra, crossing position on the right hand side. Albrighton trying to get close to him, easier said than done. This is Christie up from right back, gives it in low to Butterfield. Butterfield turns under pressure from Ndidi and rolls it back to Keogh on the halfway line.
Yeah, Ranieri as well, just changed a couple of things as well within his side. He's put Mahrez back out onto the right hand side. He was playing more central in the first half of extra time. I think that's just largely down to the fact is he'll have more energy than Gray. Gray can be a little bit freer, trying to get in support of Slimani.
Here comes the cross from Shackle from the left, headed away by Vasilevsky for Leicester. Well controlled by Mahrez. Gray had set off in a run, and Mahrez had spotted him, and he tried to drill it to Damari Gray. It was blocked down by Desart. Here is Ndidi battling hard in the middle of the midfield, but also battling was down there Vidra, and he wins the ball back for Derby. This is Keogh, still inside his own half. Slimani sprints across. Russell now gets it. Derby fans looking on expectantly. Their team are attacking the end, which the Derby fans are housed away to our left-hand side. This is Dave Nugent back up against his old club tonight. Christie comes spinning in off the wing on the right-hand side. Gives it low to Vidra, surrounded by defenders in blue shirts. Christie has it once again, almost at a walking pace. Russell takes it off his toe, cuts in from the right-hand side. Oh, Anya made a good run, but it's played in front of him, and that goes out for a goal kick to Leicester, and they still lead 2-1. Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, I think he got a bit of cramp for his troubles there as well. Anya. Good incisive pass though from Johnny Russell as he comes inside, gets his head up. Good run from Anya, who is onside. Just probably a little bit overhit there from Johnny Russell, the pass.
Leicester, who have lost 13 Premier League games this season. They only lost 3 in the league in all of the last campaign. Unless they do go and win the FA Cup or the Champions League, it's not going to anywhere near match the fun they had last season. But I wonder how many Leicester City fans would swap it, to say, okay, you're going to have a bit of a shocker in 16-17, but you can win the league in 15-16. There is no one who would say, no, I don't want to win the league.
Yeah, I'm probably with you. A majority would say that. At board level, in the boardroom though, it's such a difficult one. You say, can you guarantee your club's future over a longer period of time financially? But what happened last season was just incredible, wasn't it?
It really was. We've never seen anything like it. And it's funny to see some of the players down there, likes of Albrighton, who were part of that relegation battle 2 seasons ago, part of the title win last season, and now they have to revert to type. And I think Claudio Ranieri spoke about that this week, about, they know what it's like to be in a relegation battle, most of these players. They've been in it before. So if it stays like this, Kevin, if Leicester go through, is Ranieri sort of silently cursing that, given the Champions League commitments as well? Vasilevsky heads away at the edge of the penalty area, and Albrighton completes the clearance.
Well, last season, Conor, he constantly just spoke about, get to 40 points. That's all we want, to get to 40 points. Kept on saying that early on in the season when they seemed to be playing way beyond what we all expected, certainly in the early stage of the season. And he never really changed that, did he? When they got 40 points, he just said, yeah, top half, I suppose, that's our aim. And it just continued like that throughout the season. So I think he's saying now that 40 points within that dressing room, let's get to 40 points as quickly as we can.
King comes forward for Leicester. His goal set them on their way tonight. Had Leicester 1-0 up. Seems like a long time ago now. Cameron's free kick deflected in to make it 1-1. That brought us into extra time. And then a very special goal from Onyinye Ndidi. His first for Leicester City, as the reigning Premier League champions on their way to the 5th round against Millwall as things stand. We've played 109 minutes, so 11 to go for Derby. Riyad Mahrez shuffles it to his left to King. Bit of room in front of King. Runs in to exploit that place. Takes a good shot, saved by Mitchell. Diving to his left-hand side. It was on target from King. It's a good save out for a corner.
Excellent, incisive run initially from Mahrez. I think it was a movement ahead of Andy King there that allowed him to get that strike away. I think it was a comfortable enough save for Jonathan Mitchell and Derby's goal, but it was a movement from Slimani and Mahrez ahead of him. It attracted the attention of the Derby defenders.
Leicester take the corner short. Gray to Mahrez, lovely disguise pass to Albrighton, and he's challenged to the byline, and that goes out for a corner. That was a lovely movement from Mahrez there. It was such a disguised pass. I just saw where the ball ended up. I didn't see how he passed it there. That was brilliant. Corner again, and time beginning to run out for Derby. 10 minutes to go. Gray short to Mahrez. Now a direct cross in. Chance again for Ndidi. Could have been in for his second goal. He's headed it wide. Good chance.
Well, again, he's got to score. Doesn't get it right at all. I think Ndidi, the way that he was going in, the way that he was approaching that cross, it looked as though he is expecting contact behind him. It's actually good goalkeeping. It was Jonathan Mitchell that put him under pressure. It's a difficult one for him, doing him a disservice there actually.
Yeah. So if Leicester hold on here and win, I wonder will Millwall fancy it, because it would be how many days? 5 days before Leicester would play Seville in the Champions League. Surely Ranieri, given what he's done so far in this competition, he is going to play a weakened team in the 5th round with that Champions League coming up directly after it. I wonder, would Millwall prefer Leicester to Derby?
Sorry, Connor, is that on the Saturday, did you say?
It's on the Saturday,
yes,
18th.
It is, yeah.
The day after St. Patrick's Day, Kevin, so you'll be in good form that day.
Oh yeah.
Little lie-in maybe. Cross from Christie on the right hand side, and Martry is able to head it away. This is Dessart for Derby, 20 yards outside the Leicester penalty area. Such has been the ebb and flow of the game since the start of the second half. You just feel Derby will get at least another chance, a penalty appeal, or just a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, something like that. It's threatening there. Leicester, haven't convinced enough to suggest that they're just going to shut it down. Here is Christie attacking the penalty on the right hand side, goes around O'Brien slips, then Christie slips. Well, they both tumbled over there, and the ball harmlessly goes out for a goal kick. How bizarre.
I think he's actually looking for the corner as well, because I don't actually think he's touched it as he goes past Albrighton on the outside. Yeah, I think it could have been a corner. He's looking for it anyway, but such disappointing. But I was just about to say, just as he was getting the ball, Cyrus Christie, the way in you do feel for Derby is getting crosses in, because they haven't looked entirely comfortable tonight. Leicester City as a back four when crosses have gone into the area. He's
just stretching out. Obviously they've made the 3 substitutions. When you go in to play the extra 30 minutes at the end of a 90, obviously players are used to playing 90 minutes week in, week out, sometimes twice in a week. Can you describe how it feels, the extra pressure on the muscles, just those extra half an hour?
There's a couple of things here. A lot of these players haven't had a lot of game time under the belts, so that's going to be a factor for those players that haven't played games, they haven't been playing regularly, so tiredness will creep in when you get to 70-80 minutes. But the ones that have played a lot of football, and you mentioned they say, what's it like? It's you're pushing yourself beyond limits, I feel as though, through the 90 minutes as it is, and then when you get into that extra time, your legs do start to tighten up. You're starting to get more so in the calf area. That's the position or the place where you would predominantly get cramp.
Here is Damari Gray attacking the Derby penalty area. Oh, there's some beautiful touches there. Wow! Damari Gray has scored a goal that might just be better than the stunner from Ndidi. Make no bones about it now. Leicester are going through to the 5th round, and Damari Gray on BBC One television has announced himself tonight on the big stage. That is a sparkling goal. The ball was glued to his feet into the penalty area. He ghosted past defenders, and then he crashed it right to the top corner. It's a special goal. It's Leicester 3, Derby County 1. Surely all over now.
Oh, special goal is right, Connor. He's been superb tonight, Damari Gray. This boy is a special player. We know that. We've seen it from him tonight. He's been excellent, particularly from half-time onwards. As soon as he gets Richard Kill backed up into the area, he checks inside him. He then checks beyond Vidra, I think it is, who's getting back into position. And then when he gets beyond those 2 defenders, he has the awareness. He has the technical ability to guide it beyond Jonathan Mitchell in goal. What a superb finish that is. And they say this boy is a talent. I really like him. I've liked him the number of times I've seen him now. He is a talented boy, Connor. Brilliant goal from a special player.
It's only his 2nd ever goal for Leicester. It is brilliant. Damari Gray, the balance there. He's at full pelt into the penalty area, and he shifts his weight left, right. The defender, the goalkeeper, had no idea was he going to hit it with his left or his right, and he crashes it to the top corner.
And there's contact on him as well, trying to put him off balance as well. Everything at high speed, the technical ability, the pace, the awareness, everything come into play. What a goal.
Derby corner swung in by Russell, headed away at the front post by Slimani, who's back helping out the Leicester defence. Leicester with a 2-goal cushion now, and 5 minutes for Derby. It seems a very tall order, the mood that Leicester are in now. Ndidi crunches in with a tackle on Richard Crowe. But just to paint the picture for the listeners at home, Ndidi's goal was special. He was outside the penalty area. It was a pile driver in off the post. But Damari Gray is 10-12 yards outside the penalty area when he picks up the ball. He's running at pace immediately, and the defenders don't know whether to back off him or to attack him. Here comes the corner, played in this time by Butterfield, punched away by Zieler, the Leicester City goalkeeper, and he's just got that wonderful movement. It sort of reminds me of that famous Ryan Giggs FA Cup goal where he's, slaloming his way through defenders, but this was even in a tighter sort of area, in the penalty area, and he shifts his way to hit it right-footed. Brilliant goal.
What I've liked about him tonight as well, when he's seen his awareness on the pitch, when he sees himself in a one-on-one position, particularly when he's come up against Richard Keogh, the right-sided centre-half, when he's got beyond Cyrus Christie, he sees a centre-half and he sees his eyes and he thinks, I'm going to have you, I'm going to back you up into that area, and if you go and commit yourself to the ball, I'll get a penalty. I'm prepared to take a chance in that position. He's done it again there. It's an outstanding finish. It really, really is an outstanding finish.
And the Leicester City fans sing the name of Claudio Ranieri. Already this week he's been given the vote of confidence as a header here goes off target from Nugent. Vote of confidence from the board. Leicester City fans making it known tonight with their voices that they are very happy for him to stay, and just a little bit of the sparkle from last season around the place. Leicester City fans are going to go home tonight with a big smile on their faces, and they've just not done that very often in recent months, so I think it'll be a good night in Leicester this evening.
Yeah, local derby as well. Just seen it again on the monitor. I mean, what a finish it is. Mark Albright, I think it is, that frees him up, gives him the ball quickly, and when you get in those positions, when you're in a one-on-one position, it's so difficult, say, when you're running at high speed, then to try and have the intricate touches around the area, just to try and give yourself that little half a yard. But particularly as well when Vidra's getting back, he's trying to get back goal side, he actually feels him, he goes up against Vidra, he thinks, Vidra makes a challenge here, I'm going to get a penalty, but Richard Keogh is in such a tight position. I feel sorry for Richard Keogh there.
Richard Keogh is still dizzy. Richard Keogh, he's had a fine game tonight, but if he was put on a hanger and wrapped in cling film, he could not be taken to the cleaners more than he was there by Damari Gray, who's just been announced as the man of the match. He has twisted and turned the Republic of Ireland defender completely inside out there.
That's deserved though, Connor, tonight, the man of the match.
Yes, Damari Gray, brilliant.
He has lit up this game.
Yeah, no, he is a star in the making. Still so young. A lot of experience under his belt though from his time at Birmingham as well. Good education in the game, and now getting to show it at the highest level. And he's got big Champions League games to come. If he's coming to form at just the right time, Seville will be, I'm sure Seville will have a scout watching this game. Top of the list, look out for Damari Gray. Yeah. Keep an eye on him.
Well, I spoke to David Pleat about him as well. David Pleat, great knowledge of all the youngsters throughout English football. And I mentioned him because I saw him play at Deepdale, as I was saying earlier on, and I spoke to him about Gray, and he said he's probably been having a little bit of a lull this season, talking about in relation to Birmingham, because he said he come onto the scene at 16, made an immediate impact. They were expecting real big things from him, and as youngsters do, they have these little spells in the career where they can't maintain it, but stepping up to Premier League level, whenever I've seen him, he's made an impact in games.
Leicester 3, Derby 1. It turned out all right in the end. This was a shocking game, and any listeners who've been with us from the first half, well, thank you for sticking with us, because that was a dull first half, but it's become a much better cup tie now. Derby, with the 8 changes, I think gave as well as could be expected from them tonight. Once Anya's threat down the left wing was sort of muted by the Leicester defence, their options have been reduced. Did have it to 1-1 to force the extra time, but I think the Premier League class of Leicester, in what's been a poor season for them, that class has shown tonight, and they find themselves 3-1 in front now as we enter the final minute of extra time here at the King Power Stadium. Many Leicester fans beginning to make their way towards the exits, and they are confident that the job is done tonight. Millwall in the 5th round will be the next stop off on this cup run, just 5 days before they play Seville in the Champions League. It's going to be a busy month this March for Leicester City Football Club, and they'll be right in the thick of a relegation battle, it would appear, as well. But I still, we spoke about it right from the start tonight, do they need this cup run, or can a positive come from it? Are you telling me that tomorrow the training ground isn't going to be buzzing a little bit around Leicester now after this? They'll all be talking about those goals, they'll have smiles on their faces. The guys who didn't play tonight will think, ooh,
come back Sunday.
Might be about to make a
Come
few
back
changes.
Sunday, Connor. Ask me that question again.
I'll be at Swansea on Sunday when Leicester play again. Here is Slimani. Is there to be a 4th for Leicester tonight? Slimani to the penalty area. Looks up. No support. Eventually, Damari Gray arrives. Not a good pass. 1 minute being added on for stoppages at the end of the extra time here. Mahrez comes forward, and he's just going to shield it out towards the corner flag now with Damari Gray. Slimani for a moment looked like he was going to put the cherry on top for Leicester tonight, but the chance just wouldn't open up for him. 3-1 to Leicester. And Ranieri, who's been feeling the heat, I think this win will do him the world of good tonight. So as soon as the live football is finished, we'll have a brief 5 Live Football social. Ian Wright's been on Twitter. In a season where Leicester have been dire, Damari Gray can't get into that side. It's a good point. He's not started many, Damari Gray. Well, I think he's going to start a few more now.
There's been a big call for him, Connor, and again, even this season as well, in short spells, whenever he's came in to games or whether he's come on to games, and whenever he started, he's had an impact this season. So a lot of Leicester City supporters feeling as though he should be getting more game time.
The referee blows the final whistle, and a guttural roar around the King Power Stadium, the likes of which we have not heard for a long, long time. Leicester, who have had a miserable campaign, just one win in their last 9 Premier League games, but they stride on in the FA Cup, and even with the 10 changes tonight, it's enough to beat Derby 3-1, and not 1 but 2 excellent goals, Kevin.
Yeah, in what was a dire first half of this game, we were looking where the spark was going to come from. Damari Gray provided that spark just at the start of the second half, but as the game progressed, it turned into an outstanding game. I felt into extra time. Ndidi coming off the bench scored a wonderful goal, brilliant strike, and then Damari Gray finished it. Brilliant performance from him.
It's a night when Leicester had the stomach for the battle. It's finished Leicester 3, Derby 1.